crisscrossing
Hello,
two
and welcome
different
back to my
stories.
channel where we are
But
all crime, all black, all the
there was a
time.
secret meeting, and when the judge realized that Brian Steele had found out about it and the Young Thug side of the defense, he was mad and he was like, how did you find that out? Who told you? Who told you? He's threatening to sanction people. And it was so egregious, in my opinion. So in that case, I have to say I did side with Brian Steele. It was a secret meeting, ex parte meeting. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. And I think that judge should have been recused. So they're saying, look, he's probed on these meetings with prosecutors before, and in the past he was able to get some headway with it, but it's not often that type of stuff's going to happen. Yeah, one female juror, Chloe Malos, reporting. She must have had a typo. Seen smiling, enjoying defense attorney's cross-examination of Mia. Sometimes the juror widened her eyes and furrowed her brow, appearing skeptical of some of Mia's testimony. So whether you believe that or not, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I don't trust this girl far as I can throw her. And she has seemingly been, maybe putting on a little weight. So I can't throw her far. All right. However, it may be true. And if it is true, that's allowed. The juror can have a reaction if the juror wants, I think. It doesn't sound like good news that a juror would be so invested in a victim being bullied and harassed on the stand. It doesn't seem like good news. And look, they took Chloe's post down yet again, but we already read it. It was public on NBCnews.com. Anyway, let's see if Inner City Press has, okay. He has tweeted, so let me make sure it's not. That's 2 tweets. Okay. The most recent question was, okay, so let's just do the most recent tweet just to recap where we were on Inner City Press most recent tweet. Brian Steele began again, continuing his very long cross-examination. I think now we're going into the second day of just cross-examination. I think he's been doing cross-examination for a full day already, full court day, if you count previous. But I could be, this stuff all kind of starts to blur on itself, and I'm not referencing any notes, so I could be wrong. So don't hold me to that. Just from my memory, it's like I think it's a whole day. The prosecutors wanted this thing to be done on Friday. Today's Monday. Brian Steele obviously was nowhere near done. And then this morning, the judge was like, how much longer do you have on this? And he was like, till lunch, maybe more, just for cross-examination. I remember she's already been examined for, I don't know, half a day or a day or and a half. I don't exactly know, by the prosecutors. She's already been direct examined by the prosecutors. This is just the cross-examination. So the prosecutors have to come back and ask more questions again. So it's after lunch now, and we're still having Brian Steele ask questions on the cross. So he's asking, Mia, were you able to review over the break, the lunch break? Did you review some of the interviews with prosecutors? She said, yeah. And you didn't mention S abuse till June 2024. She said, I don't remember. And you got to imagine if it was 27 meetings, it's probably, who knows how much, who knows how, y'all, I barely had time to eat, a little finger cookie and a half an apple. You know what I mean? Like I barely had time to do that. So I don't know exactly how much Mia is going to be reviewing. And if it is a stack of papers, you can't control F. You just got to flip. She had to eat. So who knows how much of it she actually was able to actually look at, or if she was able to find exactly what she needed to find, or, to be able to answer this question. Okay. So he asks her, and this is a tweet we had already read. You didn't mention as abuse till June 2024. She said, I don't remember when I mentioned it. I still don't remember to the dates, to tell you the truth, whatever, to tell you the truth, whatever. Then Brian said, okay, well, did you give all your materials to the government? She said, no, I gave all the materials to my lawyer, and then my lawyer gave the materials to the government. In these notes, did you raise sexual abuse to the prosecutors? Now, the assistant U.S. attorney objects, but the judge overrules the objection. The reason for the objection was improper refreshment. I think I have an idea what that is, but the judge overruled it anyway. So the question is, in these notes, did you raise sexual abuse to the prosecutors? And he rephrases the question after the objection. Did you raise sexual abuse in January 2024? Is the question by Brian Steele. I don't remember each specific meeting, but I definitely didn't raise it in the first meeting. And in this next document, this is Brian Steele, that you just reviewed, the judge said, just ask her if her recollection is refreshed on the dates. So Brian Steele's like, okay, has your recollection been refreshed on the dates? She said, no. Not to the specifics. This is you got to lay foundation for asking stuff. You can't ask somebody a question over and over if they don't know how to answer it. So you have to lay the foundation for why you're asking the question. So they give her a stack of papers. I don't know how big it is. A little stack, big stack, box of stack, folder. I don't know, but it's like paper. So you can't control F it. And she just went on a 30-minute lunch. I'm sure she had to eat. I'm sure she had to go to the bathroom and wash her hands. I'm sure she had to have some other discussions. She might have had to check in on her kids or something. So it's not like she even could have sat there for even 30 minutes, which isn't that long, and read through these pages. Maybe she could. Maybe it was 5 pages. If so, she probably did have time. But the way it was described, we read it earlier, was it was like a packet or a package or a stack or something, right? Like a package, something like that. We'll probably see it again. I'll need my recollection refreshed, pun intended. So I guess that's not a pun, but you know what I mean. I don't remember each specific meeting. He's like, isn't it true you didn't raise it January 2024? She's like, I don't know. I don't know when I raised it exactly. But yes, I think I can agree with you. I definitely did not tell them in the first meeting. So yes, if it was January 2024, correct. I didn't. She said, I don't remember each specific meeting. Okay, so Brian Steele says, and in this next document that you just reviewed, the judge says, can you please just ask her if her recollection is refreshed? And he does. He's like, is your recollection refreshed based on reading these notes and stuff? She said, no. Is Sean Crowley the same as Sean? Wasn't there a Sean Chapman Holly? Probably not. No, she says, my recollection is not refreshed. Okay, so then the next question. You never mentioned abuse until you hired your lawyer, Sean Crowley. She said, I have no idea when I first mentioned it, except that it was after I had already hired a lawyer. This girl has said this, I think, 4 or 5 times. So you intend to sue Diddy for compensation. You want money, don't you? She said, no. No, I don't intend to sue him. I don't want money. Let's see if CNN has anything new. No. Washington Post. Okay. This is a no for me. I don't mind the jacket as much, actually. I'm going to give her a little bit of a pass on this jacket, especially because I'm so glad to see she's the only one wearing colors. Everybody else got on black and white every day, or like some very, very gray, muted, like it's all black and white every day. And she at least puts on some colors, but like what? Okay, 10 minutes ago, Anne Brannigan, the jury, this is Washington Post, the jury is back after the lunch break, and Mia is back on the stand for what has been a lengthy cross-examination. At the start, Mia was asked whether she had any photos of Cassie's bruising. Mia said she wasn't sure. 9 minutes ago, Wesley Parnell. Even during the weedy portions of the testimony, okay, Wesley Parnell from Washington Post is giving us more information of the inside of the courtroom details or whatever. The trial attendees have remained engaged, if not invested, even throughout the more tedious portions of testimony. Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. Riding in the elevator to the courtroom on the 26th floor of the federal courthouse, a woman wore a wristband that said not guilty. When she was asked about the not guilty wristband, she flipped the bracelet inside out. Wesley Parnell, Washington Post, one more time. Even during the weedy portions of the testimony, the trial attendees, is the people that's going to the trial. I guess that's the people, the journalists, the reporters, the bloggers, the members of the public. I guess that's what he means. I guess he doesn't mean members of the jury. Like, they don't ride the same elevator with the public, right? Even during the weedy portions of the testimony, trial attendees, the people in the courtroom, they are engaged, if not invested. Riding the elevator to the courtroom on the 26th floor of the federal courthouse, a woman wore a wristband that said not guilty. She flipped the bracelet inside out to hide that it said not guilty when asked by a reporter about it. We have a new update from NBC News. It's more Chloe Malos. It's not really a real new update. Okay. Less than a minute ago, CNN.com, Diddy's former assistant says she doesn't intend to sue him over S assault allegations. Defense attorney Brian Steele asked Mia if she intended to sue Diddy based on sexual assault allegations. She testified that wasn't her intention. The defense attorney also asked Mia if she wanted money based on her testimony at trial. She said, no, I don't. She worked for Madonna after Diddy, breaking news. Who have you worked for since you worked for Diddy? Mia said, Madonna. How long did you work for Madonna? She said 8 months, from April 2019. That's when the Britney movement started. That's going to end up being important. I just know it. Maybe not during this trial, but anyway, next question. When you did that, when you worked for Madonna, did Diddy assist you in getting that job for Madonna? Mia said, absolutely not. So you weren't blacklisted? No. She said, no retribution? Mia said, no. He took away the TV show, the credit I was promised. You told the jury you were fired, right? Or let go is what Brian Steele said. Hold on. You were let go for drinking, weren't you? She said, no. You remember Cassie's video called Official Girl? She said, yes. And what about, Steele goes, what about King of Hearts? Her song with Nicki Minaj, The Boys? Yes. And isn't it true that Nicki Minaj is well known? Mia's like, yeah. I don't know why they keep updating this same stupid. Okay, I'm looking at the Mirror. Nothing new there. Now let's check out this one. Diddy's former assistant accused of joining Diddy money grab by the defense. The disgraced music mogul's attorney noted that until Mia got a lawyer in 2024, she never revealed to anyone that Diddy was allegedly sexually violent with her, unless it was to my privileged therapist. Correct, the ex-assistant told the courtroom. Brian Steele, Diddy's defense lawyer, asked if Mia sought a lawyer to sue Diddy. She said no. You joined the Diddy money grab, Steele claimed. The prosecution objected, and it was sustained by the judge, which means the jury was instructed to disregard that question. Mia testified that she was aware Cassie received a settlement from Diddy after filing an sexual abuse lawsuit against the rapper, but that was public information. She said she never discussed that with Cassie or any of the rest of the substance of her conversations with the government. Defense, less than a minute ago from CNN.com, defense asks Mia if she was let go from her job for alcohol use. Absolutely not, she says. This is the quote, the actual question he asked her. Isn't it true you were let go for failing to arrive on time and for drinking? She said, absolutely not. Now, I can't help but think how we started the video earlier this morning's session with the Jay-Z, excuse me, not Jay-Z, Desiree Perez, the CEO of Rock Nation. Her daughter is suing her for all kinds of things relating to like basically involuntarily locking her up in the Florida Shuffle, which is like a rehab, and making it seem like she had all kinds of substance issues that she doesn't and stuff like that. Because those laws, well, one of them, I think it's the Marchman, is supposed to be for people that's like got substance use and abuse issues. And they use this law against her, she said, and she never had any substance. She don't even drink. She don't even do any substances. No history of mental health stuff. So it's like her lawsuit says that it's all a setup and using the powerful resources of Rock Nation. The powerful resources of Rock Nation are being put to use to clone people's phones, to bug people's bedrooms. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And it's like, it just reminds, this is like, isn't it true you were let go because you are a drug addict, alcoholic? She's like, no, what? No, absolutely not. She testified. Why do they keep updating this stupid Chloe Malos crap? It like keeps saying one new update, but it's just her over and over with the same thing. Okay. And Cassie did the song. This is the next question. The last one is like, and Nicki Minaj is well known, isn't she? And Mia's like, yeah. Okay, next question. And Cassie did the song Numb with Rick Ross. Mia said, yeah, she did. And I Love It with Fabulous. Mia said, yeah. And do you remember Cassie being in the studio with Kid Cudi? Mia said, I don't remember specifics. Do you remember Cassie being in the studio with Mr. Combs? I think is what that question is. It just says, and Mr. Combs himself. Okay, that seems to be the most recent inner city press. Let's check through the other ones. It's like, are they doing another sidebar? Please. See it. Oh, see it. Diddy's mom attends court during ex-assistant's testimony. That's a better angle. heartbreaking to see my son judged not for the truth, but for a narrative created out of lies. Y'all remember when she said this? To bear witness to what seems to be like a public lynching of my son before he has had the opportunity to prove his innocence is a pain too unbearable to put into words. Like every human being, my son deserves to have his day in court to finally share his side. I mean, I agree. I'm waiting for his side, and his side seems to only just be being mean to this poor Mia right now. Oh my God, they keep doing this. Like, is it a glitch? Okay, less than a minute ago, CNN.com. Diddy former assistant says she briefly worked for Madonna. Testified she worked for Madonna for about 8 months after she stopped working for Diddy, 2017. At the time, she said she did not think Diddy had blacklisted her. Mia worked for Madonna after Combs. The witness said she went on to work for Madonna after being let go from Combs, refuting insinuations that she has not been employed and could be bitter with the defendant. Okay, so there were allegations on her credibility that she's just like unable to get a job, and she's just bitter at Diddy because she thinks he blacklisted her. But she's like, no, I haven't been unemployed. I worked. In an 8-month stint with the Material Girl, they took it away. NBC does do that. Mirror just stopped updating. After the launch, they haven't updated since. Neither has a New York Post. The TV show you mentioned, this is Brian Steele asking, what was it supposed to be about? She said it was supposed to be about my experience. Your experience, how a person from a small town dealt with a person such as Mr. Combs, right? She said, kind of, yeah, but a comedic version. Okay, so the NBC article or whatever came back up. In an 8-month stint with Madonna, Mia said she worked as an assistant. In addition to working in the Icon's film division, she said she secured the Madonna gig independently without Diddy's help. What other films do you work on? She said, Dope, Lawless, Undefeated. And did you enjoy those projects? Mia said, yes. And you called the people a second family? She said, yeah, we all called it that. And that's just how it ends up happening, even if you don't even like the people, because you have to work with them all day and all night and deal with them all the time. And that's not just in the movie industry. That's anywhere. Hold on. I gotta turn my space heater. I gotta adjust. Oh my God, it's not working. Okay, I don't know. I can't really see what's going on over there. It's like across the room. Okay, I'm updating here. So Brian Steele's just asking like what other stuff she worked on. So this does actually, I mean, it can be seen as helping Mia's credibility, but it also can be seen as helping Diddy's case, because it would be worse for Diddy if everybody that got on the stand was like, I was blacklisted and I never worked again. But this person's saying, no, I mean, I wasn't blacklisted. I worked in the film industry. I worked in Hollywood. Diddy didn't help me get that job, but I wasn't blacklisted. So it can kind of help Diddy in some ways. Okay, so now the New York Post is writing. Okay, so now the New York Post is writing about the Madonna work. A little bit more details, it looks like. After parting ways with Diddy, she started working for Madonna in 2017. During her time working for Madonna, she was in charge of, quote, a myriad of things. I was hired to lead her film industry. It morphed into multiple roles. Diddy's attorney asked about the job with Madonna to undercut Mia's claims that Diddy, I don't think Mia claimed she was blacklisted after she left. I think other people have claimed that they have been. Do you have evidence you were blacklisted? She said, no, Madonna didn't care about that. Steele then asked Mia to confirm that there was no retribution or retaliation by Diddy after they went to mediation. She said, yeah, he took away the TV show I created. He took away the credit I was promised in the documentary. So those are two different things. There was a TV show she was promised, and also she was supposed to get credit for a documentary that came out, and she never got it. So you thought Diddy was a genius? She said, yeah, at the time I did. You wanted to continue to work with Diddy, right? She said, well, I mean, I wanted to continue following my dream, and it was allowing me to follow my dream to work for him. So I was willing to put up with it. I'm just updating the other. The other sources here. We're on the Independent. She was let go. No, we already read that. Let's go to the Mirror. Worked for Madonna after the Diddy role. Hired as an assistant in addition to the Icon's film division, saying she landed the job without the help of Diddy. She also claimed that Diddy went back on his promise to help her in this TV show she wanted to create. Ex-assistant's meetings with prosecutors questioned by Diddy's defense. 1 minute ago, FoxNews.com. Mia was shown her notes from her meeting with the government from January 5th, 2024. Mia reviewed them on the stand, and Diddy's lawyer, Brian Steele, then asked if Mia ever told the prosecution about the alleged sexual abuse she experienced at the hands of Diddy. She said she doesn't remember the dates, but if January 5th was the first meeting, she did not say anything about the alleged abuse in that meeting. Brian Steele then had Mia look at more notes and asked if she mentioned anything about sexual assault during January 8th. Mia said again she doesn't remember the dates, and she did not tell the government about the alleged sexual assault until she had legal representation. Still waiting for another update. You thought Mr. Combs was a genius at the time. You wanted to continue to work with him, right? She said, I wanted to continue following my dream. Someone said, who is up next? Swim Blue Water said, who's up next to testify? This seems like they're trying to buy some time. It does. It feels like they're just dragging this out. But that being said, according to the reports we read, I think from the Washington Post, according to those reports, the jury, no, not the jury, the people in the courtroom are like eating it up. Like they're invested. So they don't seem to be like bored. You know, it's maybe he's actually onto something. Like from where we're sitting and reading, I mean, we can get one perspective, but it seems like they're dragging it out. Lady J said the defense is stalling. The judge needs to stop all this. Defense is stalling, trying to trip her up. At this point, Roscoe said, it looks like they are scared of the next person. The next person supposed to be testifying is, what was his name? Garcia. Eddie Garcia. The person who, I think it's the person who maybe did take the bribe or the person who did delete the video from the Intercontinental system, but I don't know for sure. All we know for sure is it's an Intercontinental security worker. And I think they did say what his name is, what his title was. I don't know. Do I remember them saying he was a supervisor? Was he the boss of the very first witness ever? Y Ventura said, I agree. I think the defense may be scared of the next witness, Enrique Santos, but that's not the person coming next. The person coming next, they are reporting is not Enrique Santos, but rather Eddie Garcia. Two different people. And said they are stalling because of the security. Oh my God, not E.T. Oh, I'm not saying it, Tasha. Diddy wasted $20 million each on these clowns. Threads of Harris said. Let's see if we have anything new. No. Okay, let's check the other, what's it called? Sources. I'm just refreshing. This is now on the Independent. This is the Mirror. They haven't updated anything. I ought to move them to the end. Let's go New York Post. Let's go Fox. Okay. Back to Inner City Press. Okay. Next question. Do you, I think that's supposed to say no. It just says, do you if. 36 seconds ago. Steele asks, I think, do you know if Diddy's company put more money into promoting Cassie than any of its other artists? She said, I don't know. I didn't absorb everything. Who is Jason Wiley? Mia said, he worked for the record label. In budgeting, right? Brian Steele asked. Jason Wiley. That sounds kind of familiar. We have another update here. It looked like there was an update here and I took it down already. Let's see. I saw a little one. Maybe they took it down. Okay. Is the judge asleep? Someone said. It's probably the guy who took the bribe. Yeah, maybe. Why ask that? I think it's actually like okay for him to ask this, like a totally separate line of questioning, because here we have someone else that works for the company, worked for the enterprise, and some people who've worked for the enterprise did testify that it seemed like Cassie got more attention put onto her because she, was favored. I think Capricorn Clark might have said that. I think that's why I would have asked it. Thanks so much, Bullet Beard. Welcome back, Rap Queen, for the €6 super chat. I knew I recognized that scenery. Yes, shout out to the cousins in North Louisiana. Thank you, Itty Bitty XO Kitty, becoming a member. Shout out to you. Shout out to Alice, becoming a member. Thank you, thank you. Brenda Lee, thank you for the $10 super chat. Thank you for all your time, talent, and wonderful, honest reporting. You're amazing. Thank you for the $10 super chat. SM 2025 said, had kids with my abuser, and now I still have to co-parent. It's not linear. Most won't tell for years. New things will arise often. BJ, great work. Love both channels. Thank you. Donate to the legal fund. Yes, hashtag donate to the legal fund if you can. Thank you so much for the £9.99 super chat. Okay, new update. NBC. Defense questions Mia on Cassie's work through the years. This is NBC News, Adam Rice, Ying Feng, and Doha Madani. Mia was asked several questions about Cassie's working life during her years with Diddy, as the defense apparently tried to undermine prior witnesses' implications that Diddy stunted Cassie's career. Defense attorney Brian Steele, they keep deleting these articles. Like while I'm in the middle of reading them. NBC. Who's Jacob Wiley? Or is it Jake Wiley? What is it? Jason Wiley. Okay, thank you. I've heard this name. Diddy Docket. Is Diddy Docket in the chat? Who? Where's this person been mentioned? In a story, in a lawsuit? Where? Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, so back to this NBC article. Hopefully, it's like playing whack-a-mole with this thing. Hopefully, I'll be able to finish it before they delete it. Defense questions Mia on Cassie's work. So Diddy's lawyers are asking Mia questions about Cassie's work through the years. She was asked several questions about Cassie's working life during her years with Diddy, as the defense apparently tried to undermine the prior witnesses' implications that Diddy has stunted Cassie, that he had stunted Cassie's career. They did it again. I'm aggravated with it. Okay. Let's go to Washington Post. They hadn't said anything for 37 minutes. Nothing for 18. 15. 13. Okay, ex-assistant's meeting with prosecutors questioned by defense. I think we already read that too. Let's go to the Mirror. This is the UK one. Shh, they sleep. They taking their nap. NBC. Y'all gonna leave it up this time? Defense attorney Brian Steele asked Mia questions about Cassie obtaining modeling jobs, movie work, even a music video she recorded. Oh, even music she worked on with other artists, such as Wiz Khalifa. Mia testified that all of this was done with Diddy's knowledge and consent. Okay, so that doesn't really help. Like, oh, look, did Diddy stunt her career? She's doing all this stuff with Wiz Khalifa. She's doing this with such and such. She did modeling. She did movies. And Mia's like, yeah, she did all that, but Diddy was letting her do it. And there was other times probably she wasn't let do stuff. Prior witnesses have said that while Cassie recorded music while dating Diddy, she was unable to release any new albums as part of her 10-album deal with Diddy's record company. Cassie has one studio album, which was released in 2006, and a mixtape, which dropped in 2013. Less than a minute ago, CNN.com, Diddy's former employee says her entire world was ripped away when Diddy's company shut down. Defense attorney Brian Steele returned to the messages Mia sent in December 2016 after she learned Revolt Films, which was owned which is a business owned by Diddy. She was working for the business at the time that was going to be shutting down. In those texts, Mia said her life was, quote, over. My entire world was being ripped away from me immediately, she testified today. And even if in hindsight that world was awful, I didn't know it at the time. I wanted to continue following my dreams. I was finally making real stuff, and I had a separation from him. So she was finally making real stuff, and she wanted to keep doing that. She liked the work she was doing. And that was Inner City Press. You can support him. He has a lot of links. I linked his Twitter in the description box down below. It is like permanently linked down there. If you want to support him, he has lots of links on his Twitter. So if you follow the link that I put down there, it'll bring you to his Twitter, and he's got all kinds of stuff. He's got Patreon. He's got, I think, a Substack or something like that. He's got subscribe stuff. He writes books. He's got a YouTube channel. Okay, we already watched story, saw that. Next question. Do you recall, so this is Brian Steele to Mia, do you recall being given the opportunity to have your therapist notes be seen by the parties? Okay. Objection, Your Honor. And then the judge calls them over to a sidebar. So Brian Steele, this is the second time he has now hinted that he wants to have this girl's therapy notes open up for this on the stand. And it appears this is something they've already argued over, because they're like, okay, can we do another sidebar? Now they're doing another freaking sidebar. So aggravating. Thank you so much, Carla Turner, for the $99.99 super chat. Please cover the Rock Nation Desiree Perez lawsuit. Most channels are afraid to because it's Jay-Z. It's all connected to Diddy, Lou, and the entire web. Please, thank you for all you do. Thank you, Carla. I will do my best to cover that lawsuit. I don't know how invested I'm going to be able to stay in it while this Diddy trial is actively going on, y'all. I am doing pretty much like my maximum capacity to keep anything coming out on BJ Investigates and do this all day, but it is definitely something I'm interested in. I did cover a little bit of it this morning on my first video of today, Monday, June 2nd. That being said, I am going to cover it on BJ Investigates for sure. I am going to record that video this week, and it'll be coming out, at least a cursory view of that lawsuit, the complaint, and what's kind of happened so far, which I think 2 motions to dismiss have happened. One from Rock Nation, one from Desiree. And then also 2 judges have been recused or recused themselves. So I'm interested in looking into that a little bit more. But I will have a video coming out on BJ Investigates. That's my other channel. If y'all don't follow that, make sure you do. And after Diddy trial, if it's still going on, this lawsuit, which the Jay-Z ones do seem to just kind of disappear, or get settled or get dismissed or whatever. But if it's still going on after Diddy trial, I'll like keep up with it. Don Diosa said Mia's testimony is showing the RICO and Diddy's team is running scared. They are trying to paint her as crazy and unreliable. She's not on stand to support her sexual assault. She's on the stand to show how. Well, true, but they do have to kind of prove the sexual assault. Otherwise, it's just like prior uncharged acts. But I do agree with the gist of what you are saying for sure, with the thrust. Okay, nothing new from Inner City Press. Let's make our rounds through the sources, see if anything's new. 5 minutes ago, Diddy's employee she lost her entire world when she lost that job. They just keep putting articles up and deleting them off NBC or Irbane. Y'all go follow Inner City Press. He makes his videos. He vlogs from outside the courthouse. It sounds so bad on my speaker when I play them, so that's why I don't play them. But once I get my stuff set up right with my speakers and everything running through the right things, then I'll play them too. But also kind of want y'all to go support Inner City Press and watch his videos and give him views and stuff. Okay, let's see. Here's a sketch. During the sidebar, here's court art, courtesy to Inner City Press from artist Elizabeth Williams. Steele, Brian Steele at the lectern. Mia, I do appreciate how they like cover her up with the screen, like because they're not supposed to draw pictures of her likeness. So I don't know how they get away with doing this. Maybe this is allowed, but look at the judge. She just looks angry. He looks over it. I had said that there was a new update on the NBC is like, I don't know, it's glitching. It's something's wrong with it. Back to Inner City Press. So they're doing a sidebar. What are they doing a sidebar about? Brian Steele and Diddy's attorneys, Diddy's side is trying to get this girl's therapist notes brought up yet again. And it seems like the prosecution is just absolutely not having it. It seems like from the line of questioning what Brian Steele is trying to do, like why he's trying to bring in the therapist notes is because he wants to show that she didn't bring this sexual assault allegation up to anybody until after she had gotten a lawyer. And what Brian Steele is trying to argue is that she's doing a money grab. She is just simply trying to ride the Cassie settlement coattails. She wants to make things up and lie to get money from Diddy. And so to support that contention, he's trying to have her therapist notes come in, presumably because she doesn't probably talk to her therapist about this sexual assault. You know, Brian Steele may not even actually know. He may not even actually know. But when he asked the question earlier, you didn't bring this up to the sexual assault allegations up to anybody else before you got a lawyer, right? And or something like that. And to one of those types of questions, she did answer, other than privileged therapists' notes, no, I haven't brought this up to anybody else. And then Brian Steele is like, well, would you be willing to make them unprivileged so that the jury can see? And the prosecution was like, objection, absolutely not. Now, this is the second time, or maybe more, but the second time I remember from today, this issue being breached or whatever. Is it broached? Breached? Do you recall being given the opportunity to have your therapist's notes seen by the parties? So maybe they're trying to find some type of prosecutorial misconduct. Maybe Brian Steele is trying to say, like, the government, because of Brady, has the obligation to ask for therapist notes or something. Maybe that's the line of questioning he's going down. I don't know why he's asking that, to be honest. But the government has objected, and then the judge said, come to a sidebar, and here they are over here. And there's white noise being played for the jury. There's 2 NBC updates, probably fake. Okay. 1 minute ago, defense is hammering home the unalive myself message. This is NBCnews.com. Adam Rice, Ying Feng, and David K. Lee. Brian Steele revisited Mia's "I'm going to unalive myself" text message, echoing what might be Diddy's strongest point of the entire cross-examination. And that is the revisiting of how badly she wanted to go back to work for Diddy again. But like in previous instances of Steele asking Mia about her praising of Diddy, Mia owned it and explained her mindset of wanting to remain employed by Diddy. My entire world was ripped away from me immediately, she said. And even if in hindsight that world was awful, I didn't know it at the time. That's why it felt like everything was ending. That tracks. I believe that. I could. It's like a believable thing. It's like whenever you go through a breakup and you're so sad, but it's like when you look back on it like a year or 2 years later, you're like, "Ooh, wow, dodge that bullet." But it's like right at that time, you just only remember and like, oh, you're not gonna have your friend around anymore. You're not gonna have somebody to watch Game of Thrones or whatever with, that stupid stuff. And it's like, wow, that was a terrible relationship. And like later on, if somebody was like, why were you so sad when y'all broke up? It would be like, girl, I mean, I can't even explain it. Like that's kind of how I'm feeling like is going on with her. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. Okay, so they're back from the sidebar. And I think the judge said, leave the therapist notes alone, move it along, Buster. Brian Steele said, okay, but you never called the police. You never called law enforcement, right? Mia said, I did not. And you said when you were stopped while speeding in LA, Diddy's name got you out of that ticket. You remember saying that? She said, I do. Did you ever think of calling anonymously on Diddy? Like calling and saying, I'm, Jane Doe, Mia, whatever, I want to make a report. She said, I never even considered it. Nope. Update from NBC. Mia says it wasn't clear to Cassie. Mia says it wasn't clear to Cassie. They deleted the article, but I remember what the title said. That Cassie and Diddy were not exclusive. So I guess Brian Steele, and hopefully we get some more clarification as these sources start to roll in the updates. But it seems like from the reading of what was just up here, and I expect they're going to put it back up. This is what NBC does from time to time, and they've been doing it especially a lot today, where they put an article up, I start reading it, and then it's gone. And it's happened multiple times with multiple articles. So what was up here, it appears that Brian Steele is now asking some other miscellaneous questions that are outside the line of questioning of what he's previously been asking, which is just to impeach her. I feel like he spent a whole day trying to impeach her, and now he's just trying to like get other corroborating or impeaching answers to other questions. So I think he might have asked like, isn't it true that Cassie and Diddy were not monogamous? Isn't it true that Cassie had to be monogamous, but Diddy didn't have to be? I think he might be asking a question like sort of like that. And this Jane Doe is saying it wasn't clear to Cassie. Like she thought that they were monogamous or exclusive. Less than a minute ago, CNN.com. We have another source. So that one was NBC, but then it disappeared. So here's CNN. Less than a minute ago, former assistant says Cassie, quote, wasn't thrilled when she learned Diddy was dating other women. Defense attorney Brian Steele asked Mia a series of questions about what she knew about Cassie's jealousy of other women. Remember, this is one of Diddy's defenses. It was just Cassie was also just as toxic as him, and she was jealous. And he was jealous too, and they were both jealous. Series of questions about, so she's asking Mia, because Mia was her friend, Cassie's friend. Series of questions about what she knew about Cassie's jealousy of other women. Mia said she didn't recall Cassie having specific jealousy of Kim Porter, who Diddy shared 3 children with. However, she said, I'm sure she wasn't thrilled when she learned that Diddy was dating other women behind her back. He presented to her that they were exclusive, Mia testified. Here's that NBC article again for as long as it's up. Mia's cross-examination moved into the former assistant's observations of Diddy's relationship with Cassie, specifically whether Cassie was jealous of other women. She testified, Mia testified that in her experience and from what she could tell, she only recalls Cassie being upset that she saw Diddy with another woman while Cassie was filming in South Africa. So this is that same incident. The South Africa incident. Mia testified that the relationship was presented to Cassie as if it was exclusive between her and Combs, her and Diddy. When Brian Steele, Diddy's lawyer, noted that clearly wasn't true, Mia told the court it wasn't clear to her, with your loaded statements. Brian said, well, that clearly wasn't true, that they were exclusive. She said, well, that clearly wasn't clear to Cassie. Again, y'all, I'm not inside the courtroom. I don't know how their attitudes are in there. I'm just acting out parts, okay? I don't know. I don't even know who this Mia is. Okay. Back to Inner City Press. Next question. When you say Diddy hurt your arm, Did you seek medical help? She said, no, I would not have been allowed to do that. Did you take any photos? No. Did you scream? Because if you're attacked, you have to scream. It's the only proper response is screaming. Because you're a woman, right? You got to scream because you're a woman. She said, no, I didn't scream. I was in shock. And I did the freeze instead of the fight or the scream. But he's just trying to more so attack her credibility, trying to make it seem like she's a liar. You never called the cops, right? No. And you said you were stopped while speeding. Did you ever think about calling the cops anonymously? No. Did you say, did he hurt your arm? Oh, wait. When you say, did he hurt your arm? Did you ever go to the doctor? No. Wasn't allowed to go to the doctor. I think you understand. Did you take pictures? No. Did you scream? Like he's trying to make her seem like she's a liar. Five new updates. My God. Oh my gosh. We have 5 new updates from Washington Post. Their internet must have came back on. Okay. Anne Brannigan 15 minutes ago. Mia testified that she met with prosecutors and federal investigators several times over the past year and a half, but didn't disclose details about alleged sexual assaults until June 2024. In court, the former Diddy employee, Mia, has accused him of groping her, awing her, and forcing her to perform a certain act upon him. She's testifying under a pseudonym. Mia said she didn't share those incidents with the government until she obtained her own lawyer, a point she also made before the lunch break. 8 minutes ago, Anne Brannigan from Washington Post, defense attorney Brian Steele, who's been conducting the cross-examination of Mia, asked her about the work she did after leaving Diddy's employment in 2017. Mia testified she worked for Madonna for about 8 months. Diddy did not assist her in getting that job. Steele asked if there was any evidence that Mia had been blacklisted by Diddy, then suggested that she was able to move on with no retribution. But Mia disagreed with that assessment. He took away the TV show I created, she said, as well as the credit she was promised for the work she did do on the documentary, the Diddy documentary, Bad Boy documentary. 9 minutes ago, Wesley Parnell, defense attorney Brian Steele, is trying to frame a text message that Mia sent in 2017 after she had been fired by Diddy, saying she was going to disalive herself. Brian Steele suggested that the feeling of dread at being fired showed that she actually loved the job and would be willing to exact revenge for being dismissed. Ma'am, Brian Steele said, would you agree with me that the reason you wrote that text message exchange is because you loved that job? She said, my entire world was being ripped away from me. And even if in hindsight that world was awful, I didn't know it at the time. 4 minutes ago, defense continues to name drop celebrities. This is Anne Brannigan, Washington Post. The defense has been dropping a lot of celebrity names. That's Diddy's side, has been dropping a lot of celebrity names during its cross-examinations. The starry mentions generally have been great fodder for social media and news headlines, but they don't necessarily reflect any importance or relevance to this case themselves. The actor Michael B. Jordan, for example, has come up many times over the past 3 weeks of testimony, despite playing a very marginal role in the timeline of Cassie and Diddy's relationship. According to witness testimony, Cassie and Michael B. Jordan dated briefly in 2015. At the same time, Diddy was involved with another woman. The defense also named artists that Cassie worked with over the course of her career, like Wiz Khalifa, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj, to name a few. This may be an attempt to show that Diddy and Bad Boy supported Cassie's music, or that her career was indeed thriving. These are ideas that maybe could help to chip away at the prosecutor's theory that Cassie's former boss and romantic partner stifled her prospects. These artists, to be clear, have no other relevance to Diddy's trial. I would have to agree. So far, from what we know so far. 4 minutes ago, we get another update. This is Washington Post again still, and Wesley Parnell. Brian Steele has again asked whether Mia would be willing to forego patient confidentiality and provide records from her therapy sessions with the defense. It is not clear whether he is actually serious about this proposal or if it's just a tactic to raise doubt in the minds of the jurors. Now, he has been warned by the judge to be careful with this type of questions, and this specific one was previously already objected to and sustained. Okay. So now this is like, oh man, this got to be torture. Like, how much longer is the judge going to force this poor girl to be up here on the stand? Oh, 3 minutes ago, Brian Steele said, before the 5 days you say you were awake. Remember, he said he's awake. Remember she testified that she was awake. I don't think this witness is going to be done today. They're going to take all day on this. I don't think we're hearing from Enrique or Garcia. I don't think we're hearing from Eddie Garcia today. Look at this. Before the 5 days you say you were awake, did you ever stay awake that long before? She's like, she testified she was awake for 5 days and she started basically hallucinating and becoming emotional and hysterical, I think she said. And Diddy let her finally go to sleep after 5 days. So before the 5 days you say you were awake, did you ever stay awake that long before? She said, absolutely not. No, never. And you testified you would give up all of the money if there had not been sexual abuse. Any discussion that you're going to make money by testifying? She said, no, Brian, that's not even a thing. Your Honor, can I set up those other matters? The judge said, yes, we'll break for that. The jury leaves and the witnesses leave. The judge says we'll reconvene. So what is this super secret other matters, y'all? Because we're about to find out. Look, any discussion that you are going to make money by testifying? No, that's not even a thing. Brian Steele turns to the judge and says, Your Honor, can I set up those other matters? What other matters? What is he about to drop? The judge says, yes, we'll break so that you can set up for those other matters. Set up those other matters. The jury leaves and the witnesses leave. And then the judge just said, and the jury leaves and the witness leaves. And then the judge is like, okay, we'll reconvene. What? Okay, 3 updates from CNN. Mia says, CNN.com, Mia says she never even considered reporting Diddy's abuse, even anonymously. Brian Steele asked Mia a couple of questions about reporting the abuse she allegedly endured at Diddy's hands. The former assistant testified she didn't contact law enforcement about it. She also said no when Brian Steele asked if she ever considered reporting the alleged abuse through a women's shelter or doing so anonymously or asking a third party to report it for her. Mia says, this is a minute ago, CNN.com. Mia says she didn't scream during the abuse because she was in shock. Defense attorney Brian Steele revisited Mia's testimony about the time Diddy slammed a door on her arm multiple times. She said her arm was bruised, but she didn't seek any medical treatment. She said, I wouldn't have been allowed. She said she didn't scream during the incident, even though it was painful. She said, I was in shock. We have one more update from CNN.com. Jury is taking a short break. The jury was dismissed for a brief break. The attorneys are still in the courtroom discussing some issues regarding Mia's cross-examination. So they're still in there arguing. Let's see if Inner City Press is reporting. NBC has an update. Mia says it wasn't clear. Oh, we already read that. All right, let's check out Washington Post. Oh my gosh, y'all. The Diddy AstroTurf bots are out in real life. The actors that are getting paid $25 an hour or whatever it is. Look, listen, I don't know. All I know is the video, I already made a video on it. Y'all can go watch on BJ Investigates. Like they said they were being paid to wear these free Diddy shirts or free puff or something. But look at this. 3 minutes ago, WashingtonPost.com and Brannigan. Combs supporters make their presence known. A small but very vocal contingent of Diddy supporters has been showing up at the trial since it started in May, at times creating a watch party-like atmosphere in the overflow rooms, where they have been watching the same closed-circuit live feed that reporters see in the courthouse press room. This is technically not supposed to happen. Members of the public, including the media and the overflow rooms, are expected to conduct themselves as if they are in the actual courtroom, quietly and without disruption. Instead, Diddy's loud AF supporters have been heckling witness testimony and egging on Diddy's lawyers. During lunch breaks, some of these watchers can be seen on the streets outside the courthouse, clutching sheets of handwritten notes, gesticulating animatedly at their cameras. Mia reiterates, 2 minutes ago from NBC News, Mia reiterates that Diddy threatened her life. Defense attorney Brian Steele revisited Mia's prior testimony of the violence she says she endured while working for Diddy, noting that in 14 years, all she ever wrote about Diddy was statements of admiration. She testified that there was a time Diddy slammed a door on her arm and continued to apply pressure on her arm, leaving her bruised. She said that her only interaction with Diddy's human resources was for them to enforce the punishment he wanted. Steele recalled her prior testimony saying she was scared of being unalived. So Steele comes back to that testimony where she said she was scared Diddy was going to disalive her. So he asks me about it, and he asked her if there were times that she felt she could become disalived at Diddy's hands. She told the court he had threatened her life and had physically assaulted her. Let's see what inner city press is saying and doing. Nothing. Okay. TheIndependent.com says Diddy told Cassie they were exclusive. Mia testifies. Mia testified Cassie believed her relationship with Diddy was exclusive. Quote, he presented to her that they were exclusive. But Mia said she didn't recall Cassie being jealous of Kim Porter, who Diddy had 3 kids with. So Brian Steele is apparently getting something set up. Well, what is it? Anybody have any ideas? Anybody in my chat saying this witness has nothing to show needs to understand 2 things. Witnesses don't present evidence. The government has to do that. Second of all, she has shown a lot of stuff. What about those text messages that said, let the war begin? If you don't answer right now, call me, 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 call me. 7 freaking call me's in a row. I think she's shown plenty. So. Com said it's something irrelevant. I think they should. Gomez said they get thrown out if they act a fool inside the court itself, don't they? Are they supposed to? Yeah, this is a good definition. AstroTurf bots equals brain snatchers. They influence opinion and raise stupid questions to divert attention, confuse, sway public opinion, propagandize the masses, and to conquer and divide and conquer. Yep. Diddy Docket, thank God, has a prediction. I'm predicting they will show she is shopping a book or film deal or something. Yeah, that's kind of the one thing that I did kind of think. Like, because the last question that he asked was no promise of making money based on this trial, right? And she's like, that's not even a freaking thing. So he's going to come back and say like, well, what about this movie deal or whatever? Twisted Cookie Monster said, actually, the defense has nothing to show. No, a mama bird, he already got to show that video earlier. Jean Paul Jones said, it's probably slides of her vacation. Livy said, I don't have evidence of what happened to me. Just a story, but okay. I didn't know it was going to happen. So you didn't set up a camera. Exactly. So collage video of him asking the same question 50 times. Les Mitt said he needs to get to the point. She's been working on a documentary, they heard. Tia said on Friday, jurors were laughing amongst themselves at the witness. Dang. And the judge did nothing. Wow. Hey Boo, yes, it is giving Legally Blonde, and they should never have given me that movie because now I'm out here changing the world and you're banned from my channel. That surprise witness, FYI. Yeah, I know. I saw. I'm giving up on him for now. Once like news reports start reporting on it, but I just it's been alleged that he puts fake affidavits out. So I'm not going to be able to entertain too much more Cardello Smith unless something further, happens. Oh, it's more Instagram posts, Shanice said. Christina said, why shouldn't they be able to write a book or a documentary about their experiences? Good question, because everybody else can make a freaking documentary. What if she's doing a version of her series? Even if she's doing a version of the series she didn't get to do on her real life, it's not new. She had it already. Right. And like the Punisher is doing a book. He's doing a whole book tour through the typical AstroTurfers accounts. So, I mean, so what? 2 minutes ago, Diddy's mom and sons are in court on the trial's 13th day. Diddy's mom and two of his sons, Justin and stepson Quincy, showed up to Manhattan federal court Monday to stand behind the disgraced mogul. This is New York Post. The trial rolls on with day 13 of witness testimony. What's that hand movement? Janice, 84, has been spotted here at court essentially every day. Noticeably absent for weeks are the three daughters, Chance and Jessie and Delilah. They haven't shown up to support their dad in weeks. We last saw, keeps moving, them at the Lower Manhattan Courthouse on May 13th, the day Fed's star witness Cassie first took the stand. So the first day Cassie took the stand, they were there. Okay. We get another update from Washington Post. Wesley Parnell, 6 minutes ago, we're on a 10-minute break. Defense attorney Brian Steele said this morning he expected to be done cross-examining Mia by lunch, but prefaced that with, I'm terrible. It is just now an hour past lunch. Other witnesses are waiting to testify. The judge said the court is probably going to run late today to accommodate a witness with a flight back to Los Angeles tonight. Brian Steele takes his sweet bleep time. Okay. There's a custodial witness. Hold on. What does that mean? Hold on. Does that mean this person is in custody, like in a jail? Custodial witness. Who said, where's Jonathan Oddie? Oh, okay. No, it's not a person in custody. I'm glad I looked it up. All right. So this is what it just says. Like, I don't know. I just Googled it. I'm not an expert at this at all. I obviously had to just now Google it, and we're going to read the AI overview. In the context of a trial, a custodial witness is someone who's responsible for maintaining, using, or possessing documents or records, or who can authenticate those documents or records. Okay, so a custodial witness is a person who, it's like, you know how if you have to get somebody to do a deposition on the behalf of like whatever, like Sony or whatever, you send one person. You obviously can't send Sony, because what even is that? You got to send the CFO or the CEO or whatever, whoever, some representative of the company. It could also be like a police officer who has the responsibility over certain records or whatever. I think that's what this means. It's a witness, someone responsible for maintaining, using, possessing documents or records, who can authenticate the documents. So who can say, yeah, that's my text message, or yeah, I sent that, or whatever. In simpler terms, a custodial witness is someone who cares for the records and can verify their legitimacy. All right. So here, CNN.com is saying, Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey said the prosecution is going to be reordering the upcoming witnesses to accommodate one of these custodial witnesses, one of these CEO, CFO, I don't know, somebody in charge of some certain type of record, who has a flight later today. Because Mia's cross-examination, no tea, no shade, is much longer than expected, Brian Steele. So what is he setting up? He's like, can I set up those other matters? It is 2:30 and he's still trying to set something up. 17 minutes ago, he started wanting to set something up. This is like dragged out on purpose, if you ask me. So they're going to be reordering the witnesses. They're back. Nothing further. Cross-examination is over. Cross-examination is over. So I still don't know what Brian Steele is setting up. He needed to take a 17-minute break to set something up, but they're back. Okay, nothing further. I feel like I'm getting off the stand, but she's not off the stand. The judge says to the members of the jury, you are not to consider any of the testimony about this witness's communication with her therapist. Now, Miss Smizer, you can start your redirect. Smizer says, Mia, was posting on social media part of your job? Mia says, yeah. I'm just refreshing our other sources here. Brian Steele is running long over on his cross-examination, but he finally just finished it, 2:27. The redirect has started by the prosecution. It looks like it's Miss Madison Smizer. There's also a Christy Steiner. 9 minutes ago, Fox News said Diddy's ex-assistant says losing job hit her hard, felt like her world was being ripped away. Former employee testifying under the pseudonym Mia explains she took it hard after losing her job, even texting she was going to unalive herself. She believed Diddy was a genius at the time, according to her testimony. The lawyer questioned how any high could ever cover up the alleged lows she experienced while working for Diddy. And she says, because during those times, I felt like I was safe. He then asked Mia why she texted that she wanted to unalive herself when she first learned that she wouldn't be working for Diddy anymore. And she said her entire world was being ripped away immediately. Steele asked if Mia made the decision to continue working for Diddy. She said she didn't feel like she had a choice. She testified she was devastated when she was told she was being let go because it came out of nowhere and it felt like her world was being ripped apart. On Friday, Diddy's defense attorney questioned Mia about finding out she would be let go from the Revolt films. She said she believed it was around Thanksgiving, but she doesn't recall exactly. Texts between Mia and Diddy's chief of staff, KK, from December 2016 were shown to the jury. She wrote, "I'm going to unalive myself. My life is over." KK texted multiple times asking Mia to answer her phone, and Mia eventually texted that she would call soon. Mia later wrote that she was just hurt. According to Mia, she was given the notification out of the blue, and it made no sense. She noted they were in the middle of working on a documentary. She claimed it was very overwhelming and horrific. She said she did not want to leave the company she built, where she was seeing her dreams finally come true. Mia testified she loved what she was doing at the time. Mia explained she didn't see quitting as an option. According to Mia, there's a long psychological explanation. It wasn't just a job. She said she couldn't leave the job on her own. She claimed she was misled about Diddy wanting to dissolve Revolt. She claimed she was misled about Diddy wanting to dissolve Revolt. Brian Steele noted it was great and pointed out now she's away from this abuser. Mia agreed. In hindsight, yeah, it was great. You're right. I agree. But at the time, I didn't realize it. Less than a minute ago, CNN.com, defense attorney Brian Steele has finished his cross-examination of the former assistant to Diddy, Mia. The prosecutor is now questioning Mia on the redirect. As part of, so the most recent thing that we read from the Inner City Press Twitter was posting on social media part of your job? And Mia said yes. And the next question here 2 minutes ago from the assistant U.S. attorney. As part of your job, did you post on your personal Instagram account? Mia said yes. It was part of my job to post on my personal social media account. Yes. What did Mr. Combs do if he thought you were not doing your job? Mia said, I would be yelled at and humiliated. Next question. Did other employees also post for Diddy's birthday? Mia said yes. And the birthday video, was it for Club Diddy? Mia said yes, it was for Club Diddy. Did Mr. Combs co-own the water you were drinking? And did you say Revolt, the project you worked on at the end? Mia said yes. So this is obviously something for work, is what the prosecutor is trying to imply here with this question. Diddy was a co-owner of the water. She's drinking a water. Diddy co-owned the water. She's drinking it. An advertisement on her personal social media. And didn't you at the end of the video say Revolt? And that's the project you were working on at the end? She said yes. You posted about the good, not the bad times, right? Mia said exactly. Just going to go. We got a new update from Washington Post. Oh, yeah, of course. We got to get Tanea. We got to get Tanea on the scene every single day. Oops. I closed out of NBC. Let me get it back up. Shout out to the mods in the chat. If you think they're doing a good job, most of their links are linked. I still am waiting for a couple others, but I see some people saying great moderating. Drop that hammer. Yeah, what's Club Diddy? Club Diddy. Wow. Gulf Coast girl. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. Sometimes I I'm not paying full attention to the words I say and I say them wrong. Thank you to Claudia. Rabaldino for the €2 super chat, watching from Portugal. Shout out to the Portugal cousins. Diddy is gone. Diddy is gone, she said. Yep. Shout out to Diamond Rainbow. Shout out to Oklahoma Outlaw. Diamond is on it today, everybody's saying. Well, there's her link right there in the chat. Y'all go help Diamond Rainbow out for this tedious work she does. Tedious work. Okay. Also Monica, also Birmingham Leprechaun, Oklahoma Outlaw, no Rabbit's been in the chat, and you get her links. 1 minute ago, CNN.com ex-assistant says she would be screamed at if Diddy believed she wasn't doing her job. But the prosecutor Madison Smizer is going through several of Mia's social media posts that the jury saw already during the cross-examination. Mia confirmed that promoting the events and the projects that she was working on was actually part of her job with Diddy. Whenever Mia was asked what Diddy would do when he thought she wasn't doing her job, she said, "I would be screamed at, humiliated, made fun of, and my job would be threatened." Mia confirmed that posting for Diddy's birthday was also part of her job, and if she didn't, she would have been in trouble. We had to post for his birthday, was what she was saying. Is this the most recent tweet? Yeah. Okay. Let's go to Washington Post, see if anything's new since Tanea. No. What about the Independent? I think we read that. Let's try this. Ew. Okay, we saw that. Okay, I lost my spot. Where am I? That's an hour ago. 5 minutes ago. Mia. Okay, 5 minutes ago, FoxNews.com. Mia, Diddy's former assistant, allegedly burst into tears after allegedly working 5 days with no sleep. She previously testified that she burst into tears after allegedly working 5 days with no sleep. When asked about the 5 days she worked, Mia testified she had physical reactions, but she didn't say to Diddy that she needed to go to sleep. Diddy's defense attorney asked if she complained. Mia said no, she just burst into tears. Diddy's lawyer asked if HR was a front for Combs. Mia testified that her only interactions with HR were to enforce punishment that she didn't deserve. She previously testified that she would often get suspended without pay for allegedly witnessing Diddy do something violent. She first tested, and I guess y'all forgot about that evidence. I guess y'all forgot those receipts. Whenever she has evidence and emails that she was punished because of insubordination and never told what she did. Mia first testified about working for 5 days straight with no sleep on Thursday last week. She said they were working, traveling, making club appearances, and filming impromptu music videos. She claims she has ADHD and had a prescription since she was 17 for it. According to Mia, she took extended release Adderall. She finally slept when she had a physical breakdown. Mia claims she lost her hearing, had blurred vision, saw lights that weren't there, burst into tears, and couldn't stop. Diddy then allegedly finally allowed her to go to sleep. The prosecution is asking another question on redirect. Why, Mia, did you want to make the person who abused you happy? She said, when he was happy, I was safe. If he was mad at me, I was in danger. So I wanted to be safe. So I wanted to make him happy. Were you ever worried about your physical safety? She said, yes. I had been abused by Diddy before. I knew his wrath. Did you engage a pro bono lawyer? So a lawyer that you're not paying, a lawyer that's representing you for free. She said, yes, I did. And why did you meet with the government so much? Mia said, so my story could be understood. Why were you terrified, Mia? Mia said, because of Diddy and the repercussions. Mia, did the government ever tell you what to say during any of this examination, during any of this, at any point, meeting with us, anytime, did we tell you what to say? No. The government only told me to tell the truth. It appears, yes, it does. It does appear that a lot of people have a 5-minute attention span. Ayasha Loya Fine Arts said, that's true. If Diddy would have took a plea deal, all assets would have been instantly seized. Over the weekend, Diddy hired an asset lawyer who previously worked for the Department of Justice for the government seizing assets. Is that true? That's real? Y'all, Diamond is out here. Hold on. I have to get this demon. I rebuke in the name of all that is holy. In the one true God. I rebuke. Ah, my God. Jesus, Lord. Okay, what was I saying? It's like a live action whack-a-troll game. Thank you. Just whack, whack, because they out here. And if y'all appreciate Diamond's hard work, her link is linked. What's the saying? The devil you know. Exactly. This poor girl is still on the stand. It is given exhaustion all over again, as if she's still working for Diddy. Horrible. I hope her story was for nothing. What does that mean? Wasn't for nothing? This judge is taking a nap because I am over the same question repeatedly. Wendy Williams taking strays. I trust everyone. It's the devil in them I don't trust. I'm going to go with that. I don't understand. Bruce talking about it. Bruce Rivers is a criminal lawyer. And he's going to react to all the self-snitching. Yes, it's true. I read about it. Diddy did have an assets lawyer over the past weekend. Okay, let me look it up. It's not from the past weekend, though. It's from 2 weeks ago. It's not from last weekend, y'all. This is old. Diddy hires former DOJ expert to save assets from government seizure. Inside empire at stake. In addition to facing life in prison, Diddy could lose the assets he's built up while becoming a music mogul, including his mansions, cars, private jet, even his bad boy record label. Diddy has been charged, He's also been charged under RICO, which means he could lose any of his assets deemed to have been used while committing a crime. Diddy has been subject to dozens of lawsuits since Cassie filed her lawsuit. And while he has denied all of the allegations and charges against him, as he goes into trial, his legal team has hired a consultant, a federal prosecutor who is an expert on federal asset forfeiture law after spending 30 years in the Department of Justice specializing in asset forfeiture and money laundering. RICO forfeiture is intended to be very broad, and so it has significant consequences. Adding he couldn't go into specifics of Diddy's case because of his involvement as a consultant. So this is Stefan Casella. So it's going to boil down to what they can prove was part of the enterprise. Last year, Forbes said conservatively estimated Diddy's net worth to be around $400 million, saying his fortune had fallen along with his reputation after he was once poised to become a billionaire. The mogul owns several homes in the U.S., including a nearly $40 million home in L.A. neighborhood of Homely Hills. Homeby Hills? Another one he bought near LA and Toluca Lake for $5.25 million. Two side-by-side waterfront homes on Miami Beach's Star Island that he paid $35 million and $14.5 million for, as well as a nearly $3 million Miami condo. He also sold a home in New York's East Hamptons last year for $4.7 million. His homes in LA and Miami were raided last year as part of the federal ST investigation. The properties themselves could be included or referenced in the indictment as a means that served the ends of those alleged crimes, and they could be seized. Oh my God, they're going to take everything. In other words, if we were talking about charges that involved ST, the government would likely ask, were these properties used to introduce victims of ST to potential abusers and S offenders? Were these properties an effective co-conspirator in the alleged crimes? Oh my God, and they got a picture of him in his boat. Oh my gosh. Allowing and facilitating Diddy's alleged engagement in illegal activities. If so, and if Diddy were to be found guilty in those alleged crimes, then the properties could be seized by the government. Hey, my Lord. Along with his properties, Diddy also owns a Gulfstream G550 jet through his Love Air LLC, valued at around $25 million. The plane was built in 2015, can carry 14 passengers, and it was available to charter following Diddy's arrest. He also owns a luxury car collection estimated to be worth $1.6 million just last year, and includes a $500,000 Rolls-Royce Phantom, a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, Cadillac Escalade. Diddy has an extensive art collection. Oh my gosh. Including a painting he purchased for $21 million. Okay, hold on. A $21 million painting. I got to see what that thing looks like. Girl. Oh, actually, wait. I've seen. Okay. I know why this is worth that much. There's so many prints of these for sale, and like must be a famous artist. It's like you know how there's like that famous painting by that French guy that like it's a bunch of dots. It's like French people out on the river or something, and it's like dots. I think this is like a play on that art, but it's like showing like obviously like Black Americans in a leisurely activities, like a reframing, a re-referencing. I definitely seen some of these. Like there's a lot of these prints. Like a lot of people have these prints. Anyway, okay, so I could see why he would. This is like a very iconic painting or artist at least. He has a copy of the Declaration of Independence. Well, so do I. I mean, I don't cane anybody. Like having a copy of the Bible. Thanks so much, Rosie, for the $4.99 super sticker. Thank you, Lori, for the $9.99 super chat. So blessed to have found your videos. You have a beautiful voice, speaking and singing. Thank you, thank you. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. Is this witness almost done? Somebody said 90% of modern art is nothing but money laundering. It is a famous artist. Yeah, famous artist. Yeah, no. I've even seen those. Okay. I knew it when I saw it. I hadn't remembered the name or even probably wouldn't have recognized the name, but I definitely recognized the TriStar controller is on the LLC for Diddy's second Miami home that the FBI may or may not have visited last weekend. Wait, what do you mean is on the control? Wait, the TriStar controller? You mean Lou? Is on the LLC? Hold on. Do you have a link about this? Did you make a thread or a post? If it were in Portugal, the maximum is 25 years. Wow. Thank for the €2 super chat. Sobering stories mentions Ukrainian children. Oh, okay. Wow. Oh, there's apparently some gritty details in that painting. Well, I've never really analyzed it. Y'all just watched me do about the most analysis that I've ever done on it. All right. We have 3 updates from CNN 3 minutes ago. First of all, Combs' former assistant says she feared for her physical safety. Quote, I just knew his power and his wrath. When asked, Mia reiterated her previous testimony that she didn't feel like she could have left her job with Diddy. I would have been stripped of any credibility, would have lost. I wouldn't have been able to get a job in the same or any industry that I wanted, and I would have lost anything I knew. When she tried to leave her job once, Diddy's chief of staff told her to go back. She testified again that she feared for her physical safety. I just knew his power and his wrath. Former assistant said she would have been fired immediately if she reported abuse. The former assistant testified that she thought no one would believe her if she reported human resources the physical and sexual abuse she says she endured from Diddy. When prosecutor Madison Smizer asked her about speaking to human resources, Mia referenced a former employee who she said was fired after reporting Diddy's abuse to Cassie. So there was somebody before that human resources fired because that person told Cassie that Diddy had done, abused them. Human resources only ever punished me unjustly. Also, human resources fired Kayla for even discussing Cassie's abuse. They wouldn't have believed me, and I would have been fired immediately. So this is further proving or helping to establish, hopefully on the government's part, the enterprise. Human resources was just there to make Diddy happy. That I wouldn't be believed. I would be wiped out. I would be abused, fired, and somehow made to look like I was a crazy person making everything up. That is what Mia said she was worried about if she disclosed what happened to her with the sexual assault. That she would not be believed, that she would be wiped out, that she would be abused, fired, and somehow made to look crazy, making everything up, just like she was made to look like on the stand today by Brian Steele. Or attempted to be made to look. 4 minutes ago, Mia's testimony is finally wrapping up. Less than a minute ago, Beverly Hills hotel employee is the prosecution's next witness. Now, we thought it was going to be Eddie Garcia, who worked for the Intercontinental Hotel, but because this person has a flight back to LA today, she's going to go ahead. Sylvia is going to go ahead and go through. And this is Sylvia Oken, the area director of sales and marketing at the Beverly Hills Hotel. She's on the stand now. This is a custodial witness for hotel records being admitted as evidence. So she's the one who's going to testify, I think, for the chain of custody to say how these records are normally kept. Okay. 10 minutes ago, we got another update from CNN. Excuse me, NBC. And they just took it away. Excuse me. I need to take my beverage intake. I've been drinking this spicy tea. It's like ginger. And now it's like room temperature and it's not good. Oh, it's like so spicy. Okay. So okay. Can we get the new update back? Thank you. 11 minutes ago, NBC News, prosecution takes up redirect, asks Mia about Diddy's social media presence. Brian Steele, Diddy's lawyer, ended the cross-examination, allowing prosecutors to redirect Mia's testimony. Mia was asked about her work with Diddy, which included managing all of Diddy's social media presence. She testified that if Diddy did not feel as if she was doing her job, then she was going to be punished, and her job would have also been threatened. And this apparently included posting on Diddy's birthday. As Mia told the court, she would have been in trouble if she didn't post, even on her own social media, her personal social media accounts. 10 minutes ago, NBC News, Adam Rice, Ying Feng, and David K. Lee working hard, staying out of trouble. On redirect, Mia said she had a good reason to keep working hard and ensuring Diddy was pleased. Because when he was happy, I was safe, she said. The defense repeatedly asked Mia why she stayed with Diddy despite the assaults she allegedly endured. Mia didn't distance herself from previous statements of admiration for Diddy, saying that the highs, the goods was really good. The good was good. At that point in her career and life, it seemed like those highs were actually making up for the lows. But now she's changed her mind, which people are allowed to do. Let's go back to Inner City Press. So this was when she was still on the stand. This is Inner City Press's updates. The prosecution said, "How do you feel about public speaking?" She said, "Terrified." Can you explain that you're scared of public speaking, given that you have been in comedy? She said, "I had Diddy's permission for that." Okay. Any comparison to testifying about Diddy sexually assaulting you here? Right. So you can stand up and do stand up, right? She said, "Yeah, I mean, sometimes." Is that in any way similar to doing the public speaking of sitting up here on this stand today? She said, no comparison at all whatsoever. It's very different. "Why are you here today?" She said, "If not, I could not look my goddaughters in the eye and ever advise them what to do in this situation in a good conscience if I didn't do this." Judge looks to Brian Steele. "Brian, any cross-examination?" "No, sir, I'm done." "Okay, Mia, you may go." And then he looks at, and the judge, he thinks he got jokes now. He said, "Unless you want to stay." She's like, and leaves. Next witness, 7 minutes ago. The government calls Sylvia Oken. "Where do you work, Miss Oken?" She said, the Beverly Hill Hotel, for 17 years. "I'm the director of sales and marketing." "How do reservations work at the Beverly Hills Hotel?" She said, "It's a system called Opera." We got a new update from NBC. 3 minutes ago. Alleged sexual assault is the worst thing Mia has ever had to talk about. The prosecution had Mia reiterate her feelings of fear in talking about Diddy, with her testifying that her terror and difficulty understanding what allegedly happened was partly why she met with the government so much. The prosecutor asked Mia if she's ever been able to speak about her allegations that Diddy sexually assaulted her without looking down. She said, "No, it's the worst thing I've ever had to talk about in my entire life." Okay, so we got a few updates from Washington Post. This one's from 11 minutes ago. Wesley Parnell. Mia's cross-examination is over, and prosecutors are now doing the redirect. So she's now in real time sitting here at 2:57. She's off the stand, but Mia was still in the stand 11 minutes ago, according to this update from the Washington Post. She was then on the redirect, asking the prosecutor was then asking her about her job duties. Mia said she was often required to promote Diddy on her own personal social media, and like any employee, was strictly prohibited from publishing negative content about her boss. "Is that why you didn't post about having a computer thrown at your head?" "Yes. Is that why you didn't post about Mr. Combs sexually assaulting you? Yes. Diddy's attorneys spent hours accusing Mia of lying to the court due to her shiny social media presence that didn't reflect her dark experience working for Diddy's empire. 3 minutes ago, Wesley Parnell on redirect, Mia was still on redirect at this time. She was describing her experiences of abuse at the hands of Diddy, at times speaking in a whisper. Were you worried about your physical safety at all? Asked the prosecutor. Yes, responded Mia. Have you ever been able to talk about Diddy sexually assaulting you without looking down? No. Why is that? She said. The prosecutor asked. Mia said, it's because it's the worst thing I've ever had to talk about in my life. I can't look at my nieces or my goddaughter in the eyes and ever advise them if they were in this situation. New update from NBC. 2 minutes ago, NBCnews.com, Mia says she couldn't look her loved ones in the eye without testifying. She said she has no choice but to testify against Diddy because she doesn't want her younger female loved ones to turn a blind eye to sexual assault. Quote, I can't look my niece or my goddaughters in the eyes in the future if they happen to be in this situation. So last we left off with Inner City Press, they were talking about Oprah. It looks like it is still the most recent thing they've said. Is this her? Sylvia Oatkin. I don't know if that's her for sure. Someone posted that though. Steele and team don't like this type of witness. Yeah, they usually haven't even really been asking them questions. Does Opera link a customer's alias to their real name? Sylvia Oaken said, yes, it does. And what about this one? Who is this account for really? Sylvia said, Sean Combs. Okay, but can a guest change his or her alias at the hotel? Sylvia said, yes, a guest can change their alias at the hotel under the Opera system, but we do still know what their real name is. I'm just looking at our other sources. One minute ago, the Independent said something. 2 minutes ago. 2 minutes ago. Oh, we have 4 too. Okay, we have 2 new updates from the independent.com. Worst thing I've ever had to talk about. Mia describes testifying. Before she was dismissed, a prosecutor asked Mia if she ever had been able to talk about Diddy's abuse without looking down. Mia responded that discussing the abuse was the worst thing she's ever had to talk about in her life. 3 minutes ago, prosecutors called hotel employee to the stand. Prosecutors called Sylvia Oaken, director of sales and marketing at the Beverly Hills Hotel, to the stand. She will serve as a custodial witness, meaning she will testify about the authenticity of certain hotel records that have been submitted as evidence in the case. One new update from CNN. Jury sees hotel record that lists Cassie as an accompany guest on Diddy's reservation. Sylvia, the director of sales and marketing at the Beverly Hills Hotel, said she recalled some reservations made for Diddy under the alias Frank Black. The jury also saw hotel records that showed Cassie was listed as an accompanying guest on the reservation. She had full access to the reservation, and she could charge things to the room. Cassie Combs. Ew. I'm going to sneeze. Ooh, Lord, I feel like I have to. All right, let's see. Mirror woke back up after the lunch break. No. Diddy's ex-assistant kept him happy so she would be safe. After being cross-examined by the defense, Mia confirmed to the U.S. Assistant Attorney Madison Smizer that she did post on social media as part of her job. She gave examples of posting for Ciroc and the Bad Boy reunion tour. She reiterated it was part of her job to promote Diddy on social media, and if Diddy believed she wasn't doing her job, she could be screamed at or punished. According to Mia, her job would be threatened. Smizer was asked about Mia posting for the rappers. No, asked. Smizer asked about Mia posting on social media for Diddy's birthday. Mia explained if she didn't post for his birthday, it would have been awkward. The ex-assistant claimed she also could have gotten into trouble. Mia testified posting the bad times was not what social media was even for, which is why she did not post about Diddy allegedly pushing his girlfriend Cassie into a bed frame or allegedly sexually assaulting her. Mia explained she made Diddy a scrapbook gift for his birthday to keep him happy because when he was happy, she was safe. Okay, so now we are having the prosecutors, or the prosecutor, I don't know who it is. Let me see. Smizer. I don't know which prosecutor is asking the questions, but this lady has worked for the Beverly Hills Hotel for 17 years. She's the director of sales and marketing, and she is the person who's there to explain how the reservation systems at the Beverly Hills Hotel work. So the Beverly Hills Hotel, has that come into play yet? I know we have the Intercontinental Hotel, so maybe this Eddie Garcia guy is the Beverly Hills Hotel security. No. They did say it was Intercontinental, so I don't actually know. This is interesting. What does the Beverly Hills Hotel have to do with anything? Are they going to show us another video? What's going to happen here? How do reservations at the Beverly Hills Hotel work? They're asking this lady. She said, we use a system called Opera, and that links a customer's alias to their real name. So this one we're looking at right here is Sean Combs's, and she confirmed that a guest can change his or her alias. How is this paid for? The hotel room, I guess. She said it's to T. Fletcher at Bad Boy. I think that's Tony Fletcher. Paid by American Express of Diddy, Sean Combs. What's this? She said this is the folio or the bill from a room that Diddy stayed in, room 259. What is this? She said it's a $500 charge for oil damage. So damage to the hotel done by baby oil. Okay, you see that $500 for oil damage. Okay. 3 minutes ago, CNN.com gave an update. Jury sees hotel record that lists Cassie as an accompany guest. Sylvia is recalling that some of the reservations for Diddy were under the alias Frank Black. She said it's common for guests in the entertainment industry to stay at the hotel under a fake name, aka alias, but she said the hotel guest profiles do contain the real names of the alias and the celebrity's real name. The jury also saw a hotel record that showed Cassie was listed as an accompanying guest. She had full access to the room. She could charge things to the room. Seven minutes ago, Washington Post, the government has called its next witness, Sylvia Okun, a hotel custodian in charge of sales and marketing at the Beverly Hills Hotel in LA. Before that, she was the entertainment sales director, a role in which she was at that time in charge of bookings for clients in the, okay, entertainment sales. So you want to sell spots at this hotel to the entertainment industry. That was her job. That's why she's the one being called. So she's kind of been promoted now. She's over, whoever's in charge of the entertainment sales, she's their boss probably now, because she's been working for the Beverly Hills Hotel for 17 years. So before she was in her current job, she was in the entertainment sales director, a role in which she was in charge of bookings for clients in the entertainment industry. I'm going to head back over to Inner City Press. Can support him. The link down in the description box below. Okay, so his obsession with baby oil, applesauce, and being a bleep makes me wonder if Diddy has some mommy issues. Oh my God. Next, we're going to find out they were changing Diddy's dirty diaper or something. And that's why he liked the baby oil, because it smells like his childhood or something. Okay. Less than a minute ago, CNN.com puts another post up. Jury sees hotel receipts, including a $500 charge for oil damage. The jury saw 2 bills. Diddy's hotel stays associated with his guest profile was Frank Black. I mean, he had a bunch of them. Jackie Starr. One of these receipts that the jury saw was from May 2015. This included a $500 charge for so-called oil damage. Another bill included a $300 charge for cleaning drapes and a fee for going out to pick up 5 candles for Diddy. Oh my God. Okay. So $300, they had to clean the drapes for some reason. They were dirty. And there was also a fee on one of these receipts because Diddy had sent the hotel staff out to go get 5 candles. Now we needed 5. So to remember the number 5. The jury is dismissed for the day. She's off the stand. The defense team briefly cross-examined her, but the prosecutors didn't have any follow-up questions. The jury has now been dismissed for the day. So if Brian Steele was trying to steal the kapow of this next witness that they're so scared of coming up to testify or whatever, he didn't do that, because the kapow is coming first thing in the morning. Okay. However, we do get some more information from Inner City Press. He says, what is this? This is a bill for $500 for oil damage. The jury saw this bill and another one, apparently. No further questions. Diddy's lawyer stands up and says, the accompanying guest was Cassie Ventura. She said, yes. Okay, nothing more. Is that a good place to let the jury go for the day? Yes. Okay, jurors, see you tomorrow. And there's people saying, what was the point of that? Because Diddy could try to say that was a fake receipt. He could try to say the government's just making it up. He's faking, authenticate this, that. It kind of authenticates a few things without having to have Diddy be like, no, that's not true. Now, Diddy could still say, no, that's not true. But now the jury has the person who's like, and whose job it was to do these celebrity bookings, talk about the system. Yeah, it says Frank Black, but that's Diddy. It's Diddy's name on the account. That's why they had the, they needed that person to come on. Okay, let's see if they're going to, they're going to still keep. Who's next? Eddie Garcia for an hour and a half. And then we're going to have our video expert. Witness Jane will be having an international flight. So we'll try to get her on before. So is this victim 2? Somebody tell me. Who's next? Eddie Garcia, the former Intercontinental Hotel security. He's going to be the second security guard from the Intercontinental Hotel to testify. And this is the one that has gotten immunity. This is the one that has gotten immunity. He came on this morning on the stand briefly before Mia came on. He got immunity. He was going to plead the 5th. New update from NBC. 3 minutes ago, Diddy used aliases for hotel reservations, which we already knew, but this is a different hotel. This is the same system, though, this opera system. It's the same, different hotel, though, Beverly Hills Hotel. Sylvia Oken, area director of sales and marketing at the Beverly Hills Hotel, is on the stand now as the prosecution's next witness. She told jurors that Diddy used the aliases Philip Pines. Wait a second. Didn't Philip Pines sue Diddy and then settle? He would use the alias Philip Pines and Frank Black for hotel reservations. He said this director of sales said it is not uncommon for entertainment industry guests to stay at the hotel under a fake name. But you do have access as the staff to their real name. Let's go to Inner City Press. I want to see what they're saying. They're going to tell us who's coming up next. Now, victim, I don't know if it's victim 2 or if it's witness Jane is, I don't know if that is victim 2 or not. Garcia did plead the 5th, Terry. That's why they gave him. So Terry down here said, I thought Garcia was going to plead the 5th. He did plead the 5th, and they gave him an immunity order. So he's being compelled to testify. He has to testify. Let's see what else they're talking about. So some of the, okay, so that's it. Hold on. Let me find where we are. Next witness is going to be Eddie Garcia for an hour and a half. And then the government thinks they're going to call the video expert. But this right here, witness Jane will be having an international flight. So we'll try to get her on before the international flight, I guess. I don't know if that means she's going to also be an hour and a half. The court usually starts at 9. So they're going to probably be till like after lunch with Eddie Garcia, which means then they're going to do a video expert. So I can't imagine that the witness Jane would be going tomorrow in any event. Thanks so much, Squirrel Friend, for the $5 super chat. I'm about to go on vacation and I want to put your song I heard the other day on my playlist. Where do I find it? I think you can get it on like everywhere, like Apple Music, Spotify. A Squirrel is Acting Up. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Shout out to April for gifting 5 memberships. If y'all got one of those, you better say thank you in the chat. Thank you so much to April. Shout out to you. Thanks so much to May in Mine. I don't know how to say that. Sorry. What are we going to do about Trump? I don't know what we're going to do about him. Thank you for the 20. Thank you for the 20 again. YouTube didn't allow me to post the name Trump. Whoa, that's crazy. Thanks so much for the 20. Thank you to Venezuelan T for the $1.99 super chat. So have all the RICO conspirators, have been granted immunity? I have no idea. That Whiskey Fox said that's why Steele was stalling. So Jane Doe is gone. Shout out to my cousin April. Where's Talia Graves? That's a good question. This trial has been making my workday go by fast, I said. Thank you for your coverage and being my coworkers. Y'all all coworkers now. Are any of these hotels in the same state? I'm curious if these are going to be showing the interstate international ST of it all. That's interesting to think of. They got proffer agreements. Apparently there's a difference. Soaring Energy, that's like not an actual song. It's just like a demo I made. It's not even like auto-tuned. It's not have a reverb or anything on it. So one day I might record that song and then it'll be available for download. He likes oil. We know that. People are wanting memberships. I think you can't get them on iPhone app. So you got to go on the desktop if you have an Apple. The way I ran to my phone when you gasped because I'm cleaning. Oh, sorry. What about those Kazakhstan orphanages? I don't know. We're working on a BJ Investigates over there. We were a little under the weather at the That Surprise Witness BJ Investigates Studios. I don't know who Paul Profer is. Diddy Docket said, I think we have Florida hotels coming up. Subpoenas put out dating back to 2008. On Pacer? Let me look up Pacer and see what's been filed over there today. In Diddy's case. Oh, it's thinking real hard. Look. It is Jane from overseas. I mean, I'm just wondering, is Jane Britney Spears? Because she's been all over everywhere. No, it was reported by TMZ a long time ago. Okay, thank you. Android, I think you can do it from just right there on the phone. Oh my gosh. Of course, the Cajun babies love the intro. Laissez-les bon temps rouler. If you know, you know. If you want a gift membership, they are given randomly. But I think you have to turn on the gift sign, or is that not a thing anymore? Uncle Paulie is Paul Offord. So he's coming. Let's go to Diddy Docket. They got the diddydocket.com. They got the witnesses all up. Okay, hold on. USA versus Combs. View the witnesses. Okay, look. This is a good website right here, y'all. diddydocket.com. Look, this is the witnesses so far. Israel Flores, Daniel Phillip, Cassie, Officer Yassine Binda. This is the Homeland Security investigation expert from the New York hotel room that was raided or searched or whatever. Then we had Dawn Richard, Making the Band contestant and Bad Boy Records artist. Carrie Morgan, Cassie's former best friend. David James, Diddy's former assistant. Regina Ventura, Cassie's mom. Sheree Hayes, a.k.a. The Punisher, who I'm allergic to. Gerard Gannon, who was the Homeland Security investigation agent who led the raid of the Miami home, one of them. Dawn Hughes, who was the forensic psychologist. She's kind of like a celebrity of sorts of her own right at this point. Then we had another executive assistant or assistant. This was an executive assistant. George Kaplan. He was the one that was still kind of enamored with Diddy, but he had to leave after seeing what he saw. Then, of course, how could anyone forget Kid Cudi? Scott Mescudi, former romantic partner of Cassie and former Diddy op. Mila Morales, who could forget? She wasn't up there long, but she did talk about, this is a former makeup artist. She talked about things that she had witnessed, allegedly, according to her testimony. We had Frederick Zemmour. This was the other hotel person that also testified about this opera thing. So Beverly Hills also, L'Hermitage, how do you say that? Beverly Hills. So 2 hotels from Beverly Hills. All right. That's all we have so far. Somebody asked earlier, are these hotels going to be in different places, different states? So far, they're both Beverly Hills. Then Josh Croft, Homeland Security Investigations special agent, and he was holding up bags of stuff. Girl, I don't even remember exactly what he was doing. Then there was Capricorn Clark. She started after Josh Croft, then Capricorn Clark, former employee of Bad Boy Records and former employee of Sean John Clothing. Then how could you forget Christopher Ignacio? This is the officer from the LA Police Department who did testify about the Kid Cudi incident. Then we had Lance Jimenez, who was the arson investigator. He's the one who testified about the Kid Cudi arson alleged incident with the boom boom in the car. Then for some comic relief, we had Deontay Nash. He was the former stylist for both Diddy and Cassie. Oh, then there was Mia. She just finished her testimony now today. And then Sylvia Oken, the director of sales and marketing at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Now, these are the other names that we had heard mentioned. Thank you to the Diddy Docket. diddydocket.com is where I am right now. Once you go on there, then you can click on witnesses. It's right there on that front page. So these are the other ones we've heard of. The next one is going to be, I believe, Eddie Garcia. I'm just guessing because I'm not exactly sure, but seems to be what the government has implied. Eddie Garcia, who is the Intercontinental Hotel Security, and he is the one that has immunity. Also, Enrique Santos, who's a radio host and a president of iHeart Latino. Okay, radio host and president of iHeartRadio, the Latino division. Frank Piazza. This, I believe, is the government's proffered forensic audio and video expert. I don't exactly know what they're offering him up for, but I believe he is being offered up to be an expert on the CNN tapes. The CNN tape of the, Diddy running down the hall like a puma. But who knows what, tricks they got up their sleeve over there. Then there's this Jane Doe. This is an international victim. I'm just wondering, it's about to be Britney Spears, girl. Jordan Atkinson is the former chef. She's the one that was allegedly assaulted or allegedly saw some assaults. She's also been said to be someone that's going to be called to the stand. And then, of course, James Cruz. So the government is still, what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more witnesses. That's just the ones we've heard of. That's just the ones we've heard of so far. Could be more. 2 minutes ago, government acknowledges that the witness's face was shown in error. Prosecutor Maureen Comey told the court hours earlier the face of Mia was mistakenly shown on video, and it was piped into the courthouse overflow room. The judge asked if something went wrong with the redacted footage that should have been aired, or the incorrect version was used. The prosecution didn't know. So basically, was it your fault, or was it an accident with the equipment, or what? And they didn't know. 2 minutes ago, court is adjourned for the day with no one expected to return for continued testimony. Prosecutors say they will start tomorrow off by calling a named Eddie Garcia to the witness stand tomorrow. He worked as a security supervisor at the LA hotel where Diddy was filmed attacking Cassie in March 2016. He briefly took the stand today to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. He received an immunity order sparing him from potential prosecution as long as he tells the truth when he answers his questions, the questions he's asked. Court is adjourned and will resume tomorrow morning. We have a new update from Washington Post. Okay. The government plans to introduce a number of Diddy's booking records. Okay, so this is why. So people asking, why did that lady just need to come up here for 5 minutes and answer 10 questions? This is why, according to Ann Brannigan at the Washington Post. The government plans to introduce a number of Diddy's booking records at different hotels over the years, which the jury will be tasked with reviewing. To help jurors know what they're looking at, prosecutors have called forward hotel custodians to walk through the records and explain what information is kept and how. Sylvia Oken, a hotel custodian for the Beverly Hills Hotel, has been explaining exhibits for a Mr. Philip Pines. This is an alias Diddy used when staying at the hotel. It's also the name of a former employee who sued Diddy. Pines is Diddy's most recent alias, by the way. Oken just testified that she has booked rooms for Diddy under the name Frank Black. This is the alias he used while having freak-offs with Cassie, according to Cassie's testimony last month. Okay. 6 minutes ago from New York Post, security guard at hotel where Diddy infamously hurt Cassie scheduled to take the witness stand tomorrow. Prosecutors told the judge that tomorrow morning they plan to call Eddie Garcia, a security guard who worked at the hotel where Diddy was caught on surveillance video beating Cassie. The news came as trial wrapped for the day. Garcia worked at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City on March 5th, 2016, when the infamous attack took place. He will be testifying under immunity. Okay. So I want to link this particular tweet right here. Hold on. Because look, it says, if you can Like if you can, and like if you can, if like and can support here. Okay, so this link, it has his PayPal, his Venmo, his Buy Me a Coffee, his extras on X for subscribers, his Substack, and his Patreon. Okay, so I want to put this link here. Y'all can find all those there. It's in the live chat. Vic McGee said, I bet Garcia is the boss who took the so-called alleged bribe. And maybe, maybe he is, because that would explain why he's like, I'm not going to be testifying without immunity. No, I'm not. Because if it is bribery, that means he kind of like participated in it. If true, we don't know. We're going to find out tomorrow. Who is live right now? Is Andy live right now? I was going to redirect y'all to a BJ Investigates, but I didn't have time to finish doing everything to get it done. So we're going to have to watch that tomorrow. Let's see. Okay. All right, cool. So I got y'all going over there to Andy at Popcorn to Planet. I wonder if the other first guard is kicking himself for not taking the bribe. Probably not. Are these hotel records going to reveal other names coming to these freak offs besides Diddy? Diddy Docket says. I'd love to know. I'm waiting for another shoe to drop. I feel like there's going to be some other stuff coming. I hope if he has immunity, they ask about the bookkeeping, or if he got wires and who facilitated them, or just specifically just come out and ask, was TriStar involved? Exactly. Thank you so much to Easying Off for the $5 super chat. Is Jane Doe different from the Jane that is the single mother described in the indictment? I wonder. I really don't know. I have no idea. Soro, how you say that? Dot. He introduced pointillism to the world. Yeah, that painting. Exactly. Livy said, I do believe Jane Doe. Wait, what? Hold on. Sorry. I'm doing too many things at once. I do believe Jane Doe is the single mother. Other reason, I think it's Daphne. Okay. All right. So you think it's Daphne. Joy. Is this true or is this fake news? What do you think about Ray J mentioning Kardashians being investigated for RICO? That's true. Ray J Kardashians RICO. Not true. Oh no. I don't think he actually said that exactly. He said RICO charges totally bogus. For the Kardashians, yes. Diddy, no. Diddy's longtime friend, I bet, came to his defense on TMZ's new weekly series on Tubi called TMZ Presents United States versus Combs Inside the Diddy Trial. And Ray J says he's having a hard time believing Diddy is guilty of racketeering. Okay, well, he needs to go ask him, who maybe has more idea about having some type of idea about what a RICO is. Ray J says he spent a lot of time around Diddy, and a lot of witnesses who are testifying. He also spent time around them. Based on his experience, he doesn't see how this is a RICO charge. And look, this is Joe Tacopino, another, in my opinion, plant. It's interesting, and conspiracy theorists will like this, but Ray J has a theory that someone is sending a message to Diddy here, and he says the statement is being received loud and clear. I don't get it. So I would need to know more about this RICO stuff. I'm gonna have to look more into that and watch the interview and stuff. Ray J calling out another TriStar client for RICO, not the perfect witness, but interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you for the $5 chat. Right, I got y'all going to Andy. I'll see you tomorrow in the morning. Same back time, same back place. And we will talk about Eddie Garcia's testimony. He's going to be testifying under immunity. Thanks so much to Hatka for the $2 super chat. Meanwhile, Ray J is busy wanting to have sleepovers. Well, I didn't know about that, girl. That's not allegedly. Ray J blaming and projecting. Suge Knight for all the Diddy stuff. Woo, I'll see y'all tomorrow. That's all I realize for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation, neither are opinions. Love you, Minnie K. Bye.
That's Kim, free Britney, she's on it. When we need it, little star she is. Mr. Louis with his alien backdrop. He's so cool, Mr. Cool, and Mr. Layup. Place for no slang. The truth about Johnny, the truth about Britney, the truth about Harry and Meghan, the truth about Diddy. Popcorn and Planet.
When there's an injustice against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down on them. They need you.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Diddygate coverage. I am Andy Signor here with It's Kim. How you doing, Kim?
I am doing okay. How are you doing? It's another Diddy
I've
day.
had better days. I've had better days. Yeah, if I seem out of it, guys, or if content's light, I had a family issue. I guess I can share. My son was in a car accident, so you can imagine that took me out of it. Thank goodness Kim was able to pop in yesterday because I was at the hospital. He's okay. He's doing better. That's why I can talk about it now. But Kim, that is a traumatizing experience to say the least. I'm still getting back up to speed today, trying to get back into things. So thank you for bearing with me. Please send him and his mom all the wishes. But man, that's a scary friggin' thing. So please drive safe. Please tell everybody you love them. It is a terrible thing to deal with. I'm still processing. It is so scary, but I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, Kim, as we all should be. So that's the best I can say. If I seem, everyone's just gonna be like, why does Andy look so depressed? I feel like it's better to address it head on and deal with that than not. I missed a video today. I'm with a lot of other work done, which has been good distraction. But we are here. We're going to continue. Kim has been watching. I'm going to try my best to stay on top of this with you guys, with Kim. But all hail Kim for stepping in when I need her to, because boy, did I need her to. So yes, everything's good now, though. So thank you. Don't worry. He's recouping. He's at home now. Has a cool cast on, Kim. So that's all that matters. Shout out to the doctors, surgeons out in Tampa. They did some great work at Children's, and relieved and happy that everyone is good. But yes, thank you for the healing prayers. Bummer to start the summer. It's a bummer to start the summer, but we'll get through it, Kim. Stay tuned. Thank you for everybody and all the well wishes coming in. Let's get to the show. Thank you for that. But if just preamble, just so if in case you're wondering, Andy seems down. Yeah, it is. Just you don't have to comment. Let's get into it, Kim. So today,
absolutely.
Mia was back, correct? Mia was Mia there all day? I didn't get to watch as much of BJ's coverage today, but was she there all day?
For the most part. Basically, Mia took the stand in the morning, and we were under the impression last week that Mia was going to be done by the end of last week. But no, we had another almost 2/3 of a day, all Mia. And the majority of it, I'd say probably 90% of it, was the continuation of cross-examination. And it was brutal. Absolutely brutal. So I've tried to keep all the notes together. We can go through it all. Some of it is repetitive because that's what it was. It was repetitive and ridiculous at points. I honestly started to feel like there was almost like a method to this, that they've been trying to delay something from coming in almost. They just kept almost like berating her. At one point, it actually just kind of felt like harassment. It was ridiculous. But Mia is done. She is off the stand. She is leaving wherever she's going to go now. It was really funny. The judge said, you can go unless you'd like to stay. I'm like, no, I don't think she would.
Yeah, as if what a weird option. So before it all began, do you mention this Eddie Garcia, security supervisor at the LA hotel where Combs was filming the hotel video, as we all know? He also took the witness stand Why? So wait, this was just what was the purpose of this?
Before the jury came in, Eddie Garcia came in. Eddie is on the witness list. He will likely be testifying tomorrow. Ideally, I think they were going to try to have him testify today, but Mia went really, really long, and then they had somebody else that had to catch a flight, so they put her in first. So we'll go through all of that. But Eddie took the witness stand to plead the fifth. So then they decided, okay, Eddie, we're going to give you immunity as long as you tell the truth. You know, it doesn't protect you from perjury, but there you go. You're fine. And we'll find out why tomorrow. Now, the important thing is that he's from the Intercontinental Hotel. He worked in security there. So we know that this very likely has something to do with the Cassie tape.
Yeah.
Why would a security person be pleading the fifth regarding the Cassie tape?
Good question.
I can't say it for sure, but we know that there was something that went on with that tape with the staff, that it was, gone, right? When the other gentleman came back 2 days later. So there's a lot of questions right now. There's a lot of people who are wondering what it is. I can't say for sure what it is until he takes the stand, but we are guessing that Eddie's testimony is going to be quite illuminating, for lack of a better term.
Clearly. Why else would it be happening this way? Interesting. Yeah. All right. So they also indicated several times before we get back into Mia, court client would challenge the accuracy of that CNN footage. Anticipating the argument, would call this Eddie Garcia to speak more. So that's alluding to that. And then 50 Cent, I did see this the other day, wrote a whole Instagram saying, oh, no, not on my watch. Diddy has said some terrible things about Donald Trump. I'm going to make sure I get the message to him that he be aware of the truth about Diddy, etc. So 50 really leaning in to try to avoid that presidential pardon, which I saw. I'm like, Trump, again, not getting into the politics of it, but dude, don't make a comment until you do a little homework. It's just the most idiotic. Oh yeah, we'll see. How about you see first before you make a comment? How about I'll look. I don't know enough about the case to make a comment. Would have been probably a wiser move, because a lot of people got upset at him for seemingly siding with Diddy. Or I'm open to it. Bad look. Let's see how the case proceeds first.
I think there is something hilarious though about the idea that it's possible that a presidential pardon might be, not a thing for Diddy because of 50 Cent. This timeline is crazy. That's all I'm saying.
Who would have thought? We are in a strange multiverse for sure.
Yes.
And
timeline's
then
weird.
Diddy's family has been a regular presence at the trial, photographed outside, so they were there again. Okay, so they're still showing up. They haven't disappeared. Many people were wondering, had they disappeared? They haven't. So, all right, that's all the preambles before Mia returned. Defense attorney Brian Steele opened his line of questioning. This was the cross exam, right? By having Mia go over her resume, asking whether she remembered telling Diddy that she was multitasking, worked well under pressure, and had thick skin. Mia told Steele she doesn't remember writing that she had thick skin. Yeah, that doesn't mean she can handle abuse, you absolute moron. But didn't you have thick skin when he threw that
Couldn't
thing
you handle being brutalized and, years and years of complex trauma?
The thick skin should have handled all of it. He later asked if she thought of herself as a leader, which Mia didn't quite know how to respond to. She did agree that she speaks up for herself and could multitask under pressure. When asked directly if she had thick skin, Mia said she thought she did. Washington Post reported that Steele's line of questioning was exhaustively granular. He is picking out positive interactions between Combs and Mia and asking her to explain how a tormented victim could also be affectionate. She has now read out more than 50 messages between the pair over 2 days of testimony. This morning, the prosecution pointed out that Steele had submitted nearly 30 additional exhibits. This was the same line of questioning he followed Friday. The defense introduced a text from Mia to Combs in which she told the defendant that he once in a nightmare saved her from R. Kelly. Mia said in a January 15th text message that she had terrible dream of being trapped in an elevator with the convicted criminal, but then Combs came and rescued me. Because, dreams are obviously facts.
Exactly.
Kim.
Exactly. I also I'm surprised they weren't trapped in a closet, but okay, trapped in the elevator. We'll go with that.
I know. I was
random thing to bring up.
In the closet. Trying to make jokes, but anyway, the judge sustained a government objection that prevented Mia from answering why her alleged attacker Combs was framed as a savior in her dream. I can't believe they had to. I mean, come on, really?
This is why they brought her back.
Isn't it true that in a dream once your thick skin had a Diddy as your savior? Huh? Jury?
Yeah. Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. And I'm just thinking this whole time while I'm writing this, I'm like, this is why they need to keep.
Oh, geez. So glad. Anyway, they prevented her from answering that. That was clearly ridiculous. One question about it's got to make the jury be like, really, dude? This because she was nice in a dream? Come on. One question. We have to get a dream analysis in now to talk about how that
Apparently,
doesn't
maybe
mean
we need a dreams
it means
expert
what
to
it
take the
means.
stand now.
Oh,
Maybe that's what the
God.
defense will do. That'll be one of their experts. They'll bring a dream expert in.
I know one actually. I could bring one in for us to tell everyone that that's crazy. Lori, the dream expert. If we need her, Kim, remind me. I can give her a call.
Yeah.
You said that's crazy? Yeah, I was. I was definitely about to end the stream. Um, because when I actually didn't even know trial was over. I had got distracted, obviously, doing something else, and then I just looked up and I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's over." I do want to. I was thinking about. I don't think I'm gonna do live because it's like nobody's ever in here for live, so I think I might just post it. But I have wanted to cover the Sade Robinson trial, and it's on like day 4 or 5 now. So I was just gonna. I had an idea to just post the start from day 1 and just post it as like a regular video. I still might. I'm not sure. Wait a minute. Wait till I get it for you.
Okay.
Okay.
You need a
Okay. Goodbye. Sorry about that. And of course, the child wants to talk to me. As soon as I hit unmute and start talking, that's when all of a sudden got something to say to me. But yeah, I still might do that. I'm not sure. I think because I was very interested in that case, and so was a lot of other people. And I think the fact that the Diddy trial is going on, that it took away from that.
When questioned about apparently loving texts Mia sent to Combs in the late 2018 through 2019, she testified that she felt bad for Combs after the death of Kim Porter. Combs' defense showed texts following that time in which Mia wrote that she loved Combs and dreamed of him as her savior months after Porter's death. Now, did she actually say, I dream of you as my savior? Or are they trying to, it sounds like they're trying to combine that and make that what it was. Months after Porter's death, Mia told the court that she didn't think 5 months was a long time to recover from grief and that she hadn't yet understood what happened to her while working for Combs. Valid. She noted that there was a version of Combs who cared for her. Despite her near constant contact with Combs while she worked for him, Mia admits she doesn't have any video
up to show that Diddy might be talking the truth. I'm not gonna lie to you. He did a good job of discrediting her, which means the jury looks at you as not a credible.
So that trial was about I'll post the plan was to post the news story like before like in the beginning for the trial. But it was a big story last year. Black girl named Sade Robinson went on a date with this white guy that she met online, and then her body was discovered dismembered. I think her brother, somebody like families didn't hear from her for a while, and then they went looking for I forget how it came, like how they started finding pieces of her body, but they literally were finding pieces of her body like scattered around town. And so of course when they went and checked her like internet and phone and all that, they saw that she had went on this date with this guy. He was essentially the last person to see her. And so once they started putting pieces together, that's when it came out, or they've concluded that he is the one who killed her and dismembered her body. And she was beautiful. She was a beautiful girl. Beautiful girl, too. It's like, where's the outrage for this white man dismembering this black girl like this? I think it was a lot of outrage when the story happened. Like I said, I haven't seen this trial get much coverage. It's on day 5. I haven't seen it get much coverage this week, but I think it's because, I mean, you got a billionaire's trial overshadowing it, so...
witness, all right? The jury was looking at Mia like she was making stuff up and she was lying. However, there are a million other people, you know? Arn Townsend, thank you so much for the super chat. However, I will say this, right? When it comes to Mia, and this is important to know, Mia literally, right? Mia literally, I think Brian went too far toward the end. I think to suggest, let's get into how he went too far, right? He said, you testified that Cassie, well, this is Brian. Hold on, let me move around. Hold on. Okay. This is Brian at the stand. And he would take his pen and twiddle with it. Ma'am, you testified that Cassie was like your sister. And the thing is, right? When he did that, I was like, Mia, you start giving this man yes or no answers. Because honestly, he's setting you up for a trap. You've been on stand for 3 to 12 business days. He is setting you up. Girl, wake up, right? Brittany Renee said, still focus a lot on Mia's grape. Is Diddy being charged with that? Should he have focused on forced labor? Because that's in the indictment. But here's the thing. It was very strategic. If you lie about the grape, or if you can prove you lied about the grape, then how should we believe that it was forced labor? Do you see what I'm saying? So Mia jumped in. Instead of just being like, yes, no. Mia was like, yeah, absolutely, I loved her. He was like, you loved her. She's like, yes. Like, true to your heart. Yes, true to my heart, right? And your friendship survives to this day. Absolutely, that's my sister. Mia, shut up.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, she was.
Shut up. I wish there was something, but I mean, I know it's illegal for your lawyer to coach you, but I wish that her lawyer would have been in the back, like, Mia, just.
Brian still pissed off.
Right? Absolutely. Mia, shut up.
Today.
Shut up. Stop letting Brian run circles around you. Again, he didn't want to go. Oh, also, to answer the question really quick before we go on about the appeal, Brian still has been threatening an appeal for the court the whole time. Listen, whether or not they have the basis, they will appeal. And that's what Diddy is paying them for, to literally just bother the court. Let those people get a few more of Diddy's money. He ain't getting an appeal, because here's the thing about an appeal. The jury decides what is fact, right? Like, is my name Tisa? Is my name Mona Lisa? Did I eat the cookies or did I not eat the cookies? Once the jury decides what is true with this fact, the judge applies the law. And when the judge applies the law, right? Here's all the facts the jury found. Here's the law that's supporting it, right? And then we'll apply. And then once we apply the law, now it's time for sentencing based off of severity. When you go for appeal, a lot of people don't realize it. You're not arguing whether or not you're not arguing whether or not you're not arguing whether or not
from the BJ the white girls stream. I had gotten into a little tizzy because these folks are so mad at Brian Steele. Now, like I said the other day, I hate that Brian Steele took the devil's money. Like, I hate that whatever Diddy offered him to join the team was apparently a number he could not refuse, because Brian Steele comes off as a good moral, you know, his morality. The man won't cuss. You know what I'm saying? He comes off as a good dude. So I was just kind of disappointed that he took Diddy's money to join the team, because you're essentially defending a rapist. But He's a defense attorney. That's his job. So like the thing that the people was mad about today, they were mad about the questions that Brian was asking her, and I guess how he was asking her. And on the victim side of it, I get it. But like I was explaining to them today was, y'all are mad at him for doing his job. Like, you might not like it, you might not agree, but his job is to create doubt. And that is literally what he's doing. You can't be mad at the man for doing his job. Yeah, it's not sensitive. Yeah, he's not being what I guess some people would call empathetic to the victim or whatever, but he's doing what he was paid to go to New York for. He's doing his job. If part of creating doubt is to poke holes in this quote unquote victim story, then that's just what he's gonna do. You guys are looking at it from the fact of, this is a victim, she was raped, blah blah blah, and that's true. But his job is to get the jury to not believe that shit, and that's what he's doing. Like, I mean, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it okay. You don't have to agree with it. But y'all are mad at this man for doing his job.
The facts all over again. Sorry, I'm putting my thing down. You're not arguing the facts over again. That's already been decided by the jury. The appellate board, which I think is like 3 to 5 people, they don't want to hear all that. The jury already decided. Our only thing in appeal is to make sure the judge followed 2 things. One, did the judge follow proper procedure?
We don't know if it's against
okay?
Brian
Did he follow proper procedure?
Like,
okay?
It is what it is.
If the answer is yes, F out of here. You ain't getting that appeal. If the answer is no,
Yeah, so you're
still not guaranteed that appeal, because there's one more thing you must ask. Okay,
Diddy did a lot.
So the judge
that wasn't legal.
So the judge didn't follow proper procedure. However,
and if
was
I
that
was a
procedural error, omission, or mistake so egregious that had that error
if I was a
not
billionaire
happened,
and I'm literally
your
fighting
client
for
would
my
have been
life like Diddy is, yes, I am going to pay the attorney that's not scared to poke holes in the victim story. Because there are some defense attorneys who probably wouldn't even question the victim. Like, they don't want to be insensitive, or they don't want to step on toes like Brian is stepping on toes. But as you want the lawyer that's not afraid to step on toes. You want the lawyer that's not afraid to take it to the next level. So that's why I was like, y'all mad at this man for doing his job. Like, that's what he's being paid to do. And people are like, oh, well, this is what he did for well, I mean, a lot of people say, and you know what? I believe this is true. I believe this too. Brian still is a great attorney. However, let's not cap and act like, put it like this. Had it not been for the fact that Fulton County was so corrupt and had so much other stuff going on, let's not act like Thug didn't get off on a technicality. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry. I'm going to bring it right now, baby. I forgot. Thug got off because Fulton County was so corrupt. Had Fulton County not been corrupt, I don't know that Thug's case would have went the way that it went.
Found not guilty. It's a high burden to reach. You can literally have someone that says, yo, you can really have somebody that's just like, yo, this was like, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have admitted evidence. You shouldn't have let this thing go. I should have been able to go do a redirect. But you must then prove that mistake cost you the trial. And that second part is super, super high. So let Diddy keep dreaming. Like, get out of here. And also the one thing everybody keeps talking about, the defense appealing. Do you know who really likes to appeal? The Southern District of New York. You know who's really been like being overly bending to the will of defense? The Southern District of New York. And you know how that if they don't get the conviction they want with Diddy, you know who's going to appeal? That's right, boys and girls. The Southern District of New York, okay? So anyway, so Brian Steele looks like Cassie was like your sister, right? Oh, absolutely. Shut up. Shut up. You can take him off. This man has been literally Friday
Why
dragged
did they
you
do
up
it?
and down.
You
You
did it
had
before?
the whole weekend to go home and think about it. I would have went there and just got mad. I would have been on
Why- so why
Google.
would you do it?
Is this legal? I literally would have been mad. Now he got you on the stand Monday. He literally, we have just sat through the longest cross-examination in the world. They questioned Mia more than they did, right? They questioned him more than they did Cassie, okay? Questioned Mia. And now this man is asking you, absolutely, shut up, yes, no. I don't know, that's it, yes, no, I don't know. You make that man work for an ounce of stuff. Anyway, right? Mia fell for it, right? And he was like, that was your sister, right? So since you loved her so much and that was your heart, you wouldn't lie to her, would you? And I said, and here we go with the bullshit. And lie to her, would you? Mia, girl, yes or no? Keep it moving or hit them with the I don't know. But she felt this need to just answer so many things. She was like, well, I have to lie for employment, which is true. But even the way Mia, when she didn't know the answer, instead of just being like, I don't know, pull up the records, she would be like, could you repeat the question? Again, I get it now. That's how she is when she's nervous. She was up against a lot of stuff, but yet and still the jury ain't trying to hear all that. It didn't play well. When you are on the jury, it is all about optics. I know everybody thinks justice is blind, but it is not. They go for the people that look the most credible. Do you know what I'm saying? Miss NPR said, Mia, let's get it together. When I say, I wish it was like freak wish I could have found a way to jump in Mia's body and been like, Still, can we try this again? Right? Mrs. Still, can we try this again? Anyway, right? Charlotte Doley said this all speaks to character. Once the real Diddy has been unveiled, and he has, these charges will start to relate to the character we know. Why? Wait for it. Listen, the government has already, with these certain, proven their case, right? It's only social media that believes that there should be something more. Restive Life Pack said, love you too. Okay, let's get into this, right? So anyway, he said, he's like, what you have to lie about? And I'm like, Mia, you just saw this man set you up.
Not even, hold on,
let's see if we get
like Brian still has been like exclusively thug
I like this
attorney
way
for
better.
like 10 years.
I said,
Not
Mia,
exclusive.
you just saw this
Obviously,
man
yeah,
set you up.
You know what I'm saying? Now all the celebrities,
He
is,
just
like,
hit you with the
flipping
hoo-hoo
on
ha.
him like
Mia,
that other attorney.
don't let him do it
I
again.
forget his name.
What's
That
his next
black
setup?
attorney.
You had to lie for employment. When would you have to lie? Say something that makes him work. Lots of times. I don't know, right? What did Mia say? Well, when he was cheating, when he was lying, etc., right? And he said, so is it true that Cassie was in love with Diddy? I said, here we go with the toxic social media. And listen, incels and pick-me's go to get better real bad. I've never seen, it is literally something, Disney needs to be sued. The fact that we literally classified abuse, disrespect, all this stuff as love, you can literally, if Diddy treated a stranger the way he treated Cassie, he would be under the jail. But because they're in love and they slept together, all of a sudden we want to turn the other chick. Anyway, right? He said, well then, if she was in love with him, right? Why didn't you tell anybody about Cassie and her being assaulted? Anne Marie said, judge is a pushover. Is he working for Diddy? No, the judge isn't a pushover. It's just the fact that Mia, girl. Cindy, a little spiritual healing travel and retreat said, thanks for all your quick updates. I appreciate you. Thank you all so much, right? Wait, my signal's bad. It's breaking up. Not on my end. I'm looking good. Anne Marie, thank you so much. Let's celebrate. This is your third super chat in the live stream, right? So anyway, right? He said, well, if you loved her so much and she was your sister, why didn't you ever alert anybody or tell anybody about the assaults, right? Now, if I was Mia, I would have been like, I've had just about enough of you and this Fulton County nonsense. What are you talking about? This is a RICO child. He's had guns. He's been violent. I saw the way he treated Cassie. And this was supposed to be someone he, quote unquote, loved and favored. What do you think he'd do to me? I saw the stuff with Capricorn Clark. I saw the stuff with Kayla. Hello, why do you think we didn't tell? Why don't you ask the federal prosecutor? CR, thank you so much for the super chat. Instead, Mia was like, I don't know. Like, again, I'm not faulting her, because Brian was in her head. But you know who was really in her head? Diddy was in her head. Diddy knew all his employees and how much he could push them before they broke. And they got in Mia's head. Thrift Goddess said, why is the judge allowing witness intimidation? She's been through enough. Well, you know the funny thing is, once the prosecution pointed it out, the judge got on top of Brian Steele and really bringing him in. But this was literally 10 hours into testimony, so whatever, right? She said, Mia was like, what? She said, because I wasn't allowed. Mia, you're going to have to articulate yourself. I felt like it was a study in... God, Mia. Anne-Marie said, you're my fave YouTuber. Thanks for your hard work. We love you. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie, right? She said, do you remember in March 2016? And I was like, here we go, Mia. Just say you don't. At this point, he was setting her up so I'd have been like, I did not. Do you remember your name was Tisa? Who's Tisa? Do you remember? I don't even remember what I just said. What's your name again? What am I doing here? Jesus, is that you? I would have just acted completely dumb and oblivious, right? Like, you want to sit here and try to humiliate me, baby? You're going to have to work for every answer, even a yes or no. She said, do you remember in March 2016? All right. I said, okay, March 2016. Yeah. And she's like, I'm not off the top of my book. Just say no. She said, Cassie said she was upset. Cassie said she was upset. Okay. Cassie told you that Diddy was being a jerk, right? Cassie said that she was dealing with. No, Mia said, yeah, I know. Cassie was dealing with like a lot of heavy things. I'm gonna turn around. I'm like crazy people walking behind me, right? Gotta keep that, like, literally, like, run up and get done up. Listen, so anyway, crazy people, they be having the force. Crazy people be having the force of like the war of hell in them when they go off on you. I don't know what it is, but crazy people, their adrenaline just be like, right? Anyway, she said, yeah, I remember. She said she was dealing with heavy things, right? He said, do you remember telling Cassie that he only lashes out at the person closest to him that he loves the most? Do you remember saying that his brain needs to be rewired because his brain is like a child and like the way the child lashes out at the mom? Now, first of all, we get it. And this is the quiet part me didn't say because it was messed up. You wanted her to stay in the relationship with Diddy because it was easier for everybody to keep the job. But at the same time, you literally didn't feel that telling her anything would change anything. Because how many people have known people in abusive relationships? They leave when they're ready to leave. If you try to get involved and try to get them to leave, what's going to happen? They're going to argue. The girl might get hit again. The guy might get hit again. And at the end of the day, they're going to make them cut ties with you. So a domestic violence situation isn't a Disney movie where you're like, you should leave. And they're like, you know what, girl? I never thought about that. I guess I will. And then they ride off into the sun, you know? K2 Chai, thank you so much for the super chat. So it was a dumb question. And the fact that she was even entertaining Brian Steele's dumbness. Mia! I was like, get it together, Mia. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous, right? Girl, get it together. Anyway, right? She said, and she's like, I mean, I instead of being like, yeah, I said that, and make him ask her, she's like, I don't, I mean, could you rephrase the question? I mean, could you rephrase the, the prosecution said the same thing I did. Your Honor, can we get a sidebar right now? And sidebars, when everybody goes into a huddle, they put in a little noise machine, and they basically be like, Your Honor, this is no fair. They're doing this, they're doing that, right? Hold on a second. KT said, oh, really quick, Jada Golcher said, thanks for all that you do. We needed to find Mia at this point and put her own game. Exactly, girl. Anne-Marie said the prosecutors need to step up their game. They did, but I wish they'd done it earlier. I am 1737. Thank you so much for the super chat, right? Okay, so anyway, Diddy's team, so they're in a sidebar. Diddy's team is elated. Diddy's smiling. Everybody's happy. Brian still is sauntering over. Y'all want to talk to me? Heard y'all was looking for me. It was just a mess, right? B Dizzle said, hey, that's crazy people growl. Exactly. Thanks for your dedication to covering this. Too many people want to believe what they want instead of taking it to facts. Exactly. So Brian's still sauntering over. Yeah, what's up? What you want to talk about? Oh, the testimony? What's wrong? What's wrong? Right? Everybody is just doing whatever, right? Diddy's passing. No. Oh, so the hi, Mr. Still, Miss Sandra ATL said, I'm wondering if Mia is actually working for Diddy's team. No, hear me out. I do not think in any case the jurors are paid off. I don't think the judges were compromised. I don't think that Mia is working for Diddy. I think that Mia has severe social anxiety. I think she has severe anxiety over speaking. I think that Mia has a lot going on. I think that she is very still much healing. I think she deals with a lot of shame and self-doubt. And I think that Diddy, with the help of his defense team, really exploited that to their favor. Do you know what I'm saying? Back Alley Scam Chat said, is the burden of proof on the prosecution to prove Mia's abuse? Do they approve? Well, here's the interesting thing. The burden of proof is on the prosecution to prove Diddy's guilt. At the end of the day, he is not on the stand for raping Mia. So why did Mia say that he raped her? But then again, maybe she just wanted to get it off her, maybe she wanted to get it off her chest or something. I literally the whole time, I'm like, looking at Mia like, you confuse me. And usually when people confuse me, they delight me. But you're not delighting me right now. You confuse every question. I was looking like, you confuse me, Mia. You confuse me. You confuse me. All right. Anyway, she said, do you remember? So Brian saunters back to the witness stand. And I was like, he is still on his bullshit. They said, she recalls saying that Diddy is like a child that lashes out at his mother. She said, and listen, she was like, if you hated Diddy so much, why would you stick up for the man that violently raped you? Why, Mia? All Mia had to be like, because shut the F up, Brian, right? But in a classy, elegant thing, saying, I don't know. You'd have to ask Diddy why he was beating Cassie, right? She said, he was like, why would you stick up? Listen, again, at this point, this was sick. Because at this point, Brian was 100% trying to call into question Cassie's testimony. Right? He was literally trying to not even imply, but to push the memo that there actually wasn't abuse, right? And on top of that, how is Mia's, at this point, irrelevant testimony longer, cross-examined, longer than Cassie? Why? Because they lost to the jury. And also, don't forget, they only have to do a seat of doubt. So if they think Mia's lying, how long will they think another person's lying, or another person, or another person? Even though I will say Capricorn Clark, Cassie's, everybody's testimony was very strong. Mia's direct was strong, but she fell apart on cross. Chrysler's One Hastings said, finally, I got to catch a live. Keep up the good work. Mia sounds frustrating to listen to, but it must be a lot to be up on that stand. Hello from Tasmania, Australia. Evening, Governor. And Wanda Perez said, Tisa, you need to be an actress. Thank y'all. Listen, I say this all the and I know it feels so bad. I just wanted to protect her. I felt like it was like a little sister being bullied. Like, stand up for yourself. Get up. Get up. Get up. Like, literally, I wanted to transport into her body and be like, let's go. Let's go, Brian, me and you. Like, squabble up. Like, Brian, squabble up. Me and you, we are about to go at it. One of us is leaving on the ground with blood flowing out of their nose, metaphorically, and it's not going to be me. Come on with the questions, Mr. Still. But Mia never quite got there. Okay? She just fell apart across, and some witnesses are that. I do wonder whether the prosecution or her lawyers prepped, because how did you not know that she was going to fall apart, right? That Texas notary just said, Tisa, your friend, you are serving us with this tea. Yes, thank you, right? Listen. Listen, and that's the thing that made me mad and made me feel disgusted. Somebody said that Mia was so broken, she didn't know how to stand up for herself. And that goes to it. When I say I felt disgusted, I hate people being bullied. I know people try to come at me and bully me, but baby, I will never be fucking bullied. I will be like fucking dead in the ground before you bully me, right? And that's not to say that like I haven't been hurt, haven't been like, you know, like, yeah, we are all human. The whole point of the matter is Mia was so broken she couldn't defend herself. They realized that and they made a mockery of it. And it made me feel disgusting. I literally felt like seeing like a small kid in high school getting bullied and beat up like everybody at the lunch table laughs. It was very, very, very disgusting. The hood realist said George not paid off, defense doing good versus Mia.